What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the early installment of the Casually Chelsea show. I am your host, Marshall DBDX, Casually FC, or whatever casually you want to call me. I am here accompanied by Winter Surfer, Real Chris, and Oliver Twist. A very eventful last few days in the transfer window. You son of a bitch. Totally looking forward to going over the news, and that is sarcasm, ladies and gents. But be sure to smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Be sure to also subscribe to the channel if you are new here to make sure you are in the loop in terms of all the content dropping here on Casually FC. Also, check out the links to the Discord, the Twitter handles, and all the other channels that I am available on, as well as everyone else on here. And also be sure to check out the memberships. We have 4 different tiers starting at 99p. So all those different tiers, all those memberships help support the channel by all means necessary. So big up to every single one of you. Let's just go ahead and get started and get right into this. We'll start off like always. Slow little ramp up to the big news that is taking over the Chelsea sphere. But we'll start off with the first bit of news that we have here to get us warmed up, and that is Chelsea. Chelsea have been fined by UEFA? No, the FA. There we go. Let's go ahead and pull this up so you guys know what I'm talking about. So, if you guys remember this, we showed this a while ago. Actually, funny enough, after the Ipswich game where we were charged for a penalty that wasn't a penalty. It was a dive, but some people still say it's a penalty. I still think it's a dive. And yeah, so we figured out about this, and it came full circle. Full circle. And we found out that the fine is here. So, pardon me. Chelsea have been fined £40,000 by the FA for surrounding the referee John Brooks after he awarded Ipswich their penalty in last month's 2-0 loss. The images you see in front of you is what they considered surrounding the referee. We continue on to the next tweet here. This same referee will be refereeing Manchester City versus Chelsea. So we have, Saturday to look forward to encountering him again. Let's make sure there's not more than three bodies surrounding him. He's given 2 penalties against Chelsea this season already. Thank God it's not Anthony Taylor. At least you can see the bright side of this, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we did kind of touch on this topic slightly last time around. We did discuss how it could be dangerous for the referees and so on and so forth. Some of us actually were in the mindset of I think we're overprotecting referees. I think Oliver, you had mentioned something like that. But yeah, I mean, now that we have the fine here and we're seeing images of what actually happened, which is pretty much this. How do we feel about it? And how do we feel about it now that we know that come Saturday, this guy will be refereeing the match as well?
I'll start. With the whole giving the 2 penalties thing, I'd be interested to know what the other penalty was, because if we're going to use that as a point to get scared that he gave us 2 penalties, we've got to make sure that those penalties were at least incorrect before we start getting worried. And granted, the Ipswich one was, but I don't know what the other one was, so I'm not going to use that personally. But as for the fine itself, I mean, listen, we are a big football club. We are one of the big 6 in England. We get a lot of TV money. This is an insubsequential sum of money, so it's not going to hurt us too much. All I'd say is that I've seen other teams crowd the referee even more than this and get away with it. So, if we want to be consistent, then let's try to be, because there's been worse than this and it's not been punished. But like I say, it's an insubsequential amount of money, so I'm not getting too annoyed over it personally.
You say that, but just wait till we get to the next segment.
Yeah, he's probably get vice captaincy. That's what he'll get. Enzo got the captaincy. Garnacho will get vice captaincy the way this club goes. What are you talking about?
Chris, what do you got to say about the fine?
Oh, Chelsea's fine?
They're not fine. Oh, you mean the fine?
Chelsea are not fine. They were fined, but Chelsea are not fined. Yes.
Fined. Okay,
Andrew is
sorry,
spot
yeah.
on.
Fine. Like,
Fine, yeah.
did you even say like how much it was? Like, is it like even gonna be like
40,000 pounds.
40,000.
10,000
Sorry.
less.
If it was 40 million, we wouldn't be able to afford
I
certain
should say, we're
men.
not doing no transfer budget window this January for sure.
I kind of wish it was 40 million.
Yeah, the way things are going.
If it was 40 million, you better make it worth our
40,000.
while. That's all. You know what I mean? You better have actually done something to make it worth 40 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah, double up. So that the
That's a
whole
bit
team
steep
surround
to,
the ref.
Todd Bowley's pockets right there, 40,000.
Oh boy,
Wait,
Chris, talk to me.
I
man.
actually sorry, my dog was being paid. Wait, like you said, we got fined. What was it for? Like it's something to do with FA?
What
Surrounding
you see in
referee.
front of you after the
Oh,
Ipswich
surrounding-
decision.
Okay, I
What
actually
you see
do
in front of you
okay,
is what was
yeah.
surrounding the ref.
No, okay,
yes.
yeah. I actually do understand like them fining you for that because I don't believe players should surround.
All right, Chris, you're done. You're done.
You're
It was nice talking to Chris. Chris,
fined
I'm
40
fining
seconds.
you now.
40 seconds.
No,
No,
I'm
because
kidding.
I actually, because okay, I get it in certain situations. If you gotta like surround the referee at times, you gotta do it. Sometimes it's bullshit. Like, you know, when Chelsea surrounded what's his name, the referee in the Barcelona 09, I get it because that was some bullshit game. But like, if it's stuff like this against Ipswich, nah, you shouldn't surround them over that.
See what
But
happened?
yeah,
I mean,
if fine's a fine, just take it, man. If you're gonna surround it, then yeah, take the fine.
You see what happened with Real Chris right there, right? Everyone should know that Real Chris just suffered a terrible ACL injury and had an operation on it, right? But you can't even blame the drugs he's on for his performance that he just gave about 30 seconds ago. That's just naturally Chris right there. He doesn't pay attention. He's got the attention.
Wait, what?
He's got the attention span of a dead goldfish. That's what I'm talking about right now. You know what we're talking about. Who got fined, where they got fined, how much they got fined.
Well,
It's right in front of him on the screen.
I even said it like my dog was. You know, like yeah,
Chris,
I
we're
just-
not even 10 minutes into the stream, and you already have Andrew like this. This is how bad the Chelsea
No,
fan
what
base
was
is right now.
was referee like against Man City? Yeah, I'm fine with that. As long as it's not Anthony
I
Taylor.
love this guy to pieces.
We've all had enough, and we barely started.
No, like
Never
that,
changed. I
no,
love
like
this
him
guy.
being. By the way, him being referee against like us against City, that's not even bad. As long as
Yeah.
it's not like an Anthony Taylor or something, I'm good. Like we're complaining about Anthony Taylor like
But
crazy.
the other
so-
penalty was for Liverpool, and that was a penalty. So we can't like go, oh, they were both controversial.
Oh yeah, that was a foul by Coleman. Yeah.
That was a foul. And I've always
Yeah.
thought the Anthony Taylor stuff is actually a bit blown out of proportion because I remember he did give us 2 penalties against Spurs recently. So it's,
Yeah, recently
it's,
he's a
it's
little
one
bit
of
better.
those. It's just the cup finals he screwed us over in. So
Even that other Tottenham game, number 2, where Cucurella's hair got pulled, he got yanked.
but that's
Yeah,
more
that wasn't
VAR.
great,
Don't you think that's
Jelly.
more VAR than the actual that Anthony
I actually
Taylor
agree.
rule?
Yeah, VR
Yeah,
should actually
it's
like
like-
interview with that one
Yeah.
because you know
Yeah, you got to remember the one where what's it called? The goalkeeper clotheslined Alonso and he gave it as a free kick the other way.
But then VAR stepped in and then changed
Yeah,
it.
but
That's
yeah, I know VAR. They did their job that time, thankfully.
exactly right. So it's like,
Okay, yeah.
but back to this. I actually saw the clip. I think someone posted on Twitter that they think what the
I'm
clip
trying to
they
find it, but I
posted,
couldn't.
what
Yeah, I
they
did
thought
see
they
the
were
clip.
actually fined for that pitch he did. It didn't look that aggressive. It was just a natural thing of people asking, "Are you sure about the penalty?" Or
So
saying
here,
it's
let
not
me
a
put
penalty.
up
It
the
wasn't like
let me put up
aggressive,
the image
like-
again.
he wasn't surrounded by the
it-
entire. He wasn't surrounded by the entire frigging team. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, does anyone remember this one? This is, I
Yeah,
think,
I
the
think
first
it's
penalty
Liverpool.
that.
Yeah. That was Liverpool.
Okay, so this is the other
Yeah,
one
for
that
Colwell, that was
Oliver,
different.
you were
That
saying
was
were
a
fine.
penalty.
Yeah, this is the other
That
penalty.
was a
Yeah,
penalty.
yeah,
That was Colwell
yeah.
kicking out.
This was a penalty.
Yeah, that was.
This was a clear
Absolutely.
penalty. This wasn't
Yeah.
as clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
but
50-50.
What you were referring to, Andrew, the clip stems from this. Like, this is essentially, he had like 5 or 4 Chelsea players around him, and it, like you said, it didn't
don't
look
think
aggressive, but yeah.
The thing about this penalty is, I don't even really see. The problem is, I don't really blame the referee for giving the penalty. VAR
Yeah.
had several replays and decided not to overturn it when they should have. So
Agreed.
I don't get this. So it's not. It's one of those things. 40k. And just give that to part of the sporting director's severance package or something like that. at this rate. You know what I mean? So, I'll hire someone to take out their kneecaps or something like that. Or something.
Yeah.
Who
Give me a fine for that at least.
I mean, balance it up. I mean, did we get an apology for that one? I think we did, didn't we?
No. I don't think
Did
we
we get
did.
an apology for that one?
I think we got an apology for something else, not that.
Yeah,
I think it was
got a couple,
another
right?
incident. I think it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember actually. It was something else, not that of the recent games.
Yeah, do you know what? I know it's a natural thing, but they have been told that really it's the captain mainly who can really go up and speak with a referee. I can understand maybe another person, but maybe just don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't give him an excuse to go up and do it. You know, you should be relying on that one on a VAR to see if there's anything different, and they were let down by VAR. That's what it was.
Who was the captain in that game? Was it Enzo?
Probably.
I'm trying to remember the lineup.
Here.
Well,
I know we rotated a lot, but then we have two midfielders
I
only.
think it's Enzo.
Pretty sure it was Enzo. I'm pulling it up.
I know James didn't play it, so it wouldn't have been him. And,
And Kunku, Felix, Palmer, Madueke, Enzo. Yeah, it was Enzo.
Yeah, it would have been Enzo then. And he wasn't even in that shot that you just showed. It was Kukureya, Jorgensen, Tosin, and Caicedo.
That's a good point, actually, to point out. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's annoying. Obviously, we've complained multiple times now about the inconsistencies with the FA and the refereeing, which I think if you were to shore up the inconsistencies, then I think it would calm down and maybe fix a little bit of the bad reputation that the FA has in terms of the refereeing. Because at least you're being consistent. Like, if you're going to have bad calls, like the Cucurella hair pull that we just saw, or the clothesline against Bournemouth, right? Like, if you're going to have consistent bad calls all around, then fine. At least you're consistent. We know the rules, all this and that. I remember in the beginning of the season, we were all having this debate, or most Arsenal fans, I should say, were having this debate about the whole disrupting the flow of the game with Declan Rice kicking the ball away and stuff. And now,
they
halfway
dropped
through
that,
the
by the
season,
way.
yeah, exactly. Halfway through the season, it's been dropped. It's, again, the inconsistencies that are like one of the biggest, underlying issues when it comes to the refereeing and all this stuff in the FA. So I think if you fix those inconsistencies, you can have shit calls, but at least fixing the inconsistencies leads us in a better direction. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents on that situation. But it's been finalized. We were fine for that. Now we'll see what happens against Manchester City on Saturday. Chelsea players do not surround the referee because it will be seen as aggressive. And we will get fined again. And the reason I'm bringing up the fine stuff because the next topic has to do with financials, and that's with Chelsea revenue. Now, I am going to take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt, just a little bit, because I'm not entirely sure how reliable the source is, but it is a source nonetheless that is reporting apparently that Chelsea revenues dropped massively in the 2023-2024 Delia Football Money League report. From this source right here, the Delia Football Money League report. So comparing 2022, 2023 to 2023-24, so the Graham Potter season versus the season we just had with Pochettino, our match day revenue did go up, so that's nice. So we went from 88 million euros to 93 million euros. I guess that's per match day revenue on average. Then broadcasting revenue actually did go down from. That's a drastic drop.
You know what that is, don't you?
The broadcasting revenue.
Yeah, you know what that is, don't you?
European revenue.
We went in Europe.
Oh.
Yeah, the Champions League money's gone. Yeah,
Yeah, the proper season we were. So.
Yeah,
commercial revenue went up slightly, but yeah, overall the broadcasting revenue did go down, and it does make sense now that you mentioned that not being
also the match day revenue is explained by us having longer cup runs as well in the pot season.
We
got eliminated.
Our prices went up. When you think about it.
Well, yeah, but then also we got eliminated in the first round under Potter of both cups by Man City. Whereas, under Potter we got to the final of the Carabao Cup and the semi-final.
Oh, that's right. Cup. You're totally right. I totally forgot about that. I try not to remember that season. All Are we
Don't
even
blame
in
me.
this thing? Oh, here we go. Yeah. So 545.5 million in revenue for Chelsea on the year, I'm assuming, when you add all this up, versus like a Real Madrid or a City. Where's Tottenham? Even Tottenham made more revenue than us last
It's because
season.
they got $1 billion stadium, and they've got like, I don't, do they count all the other revenue they bring in? Like, because it's just football revenue? Because even that, the match day.
I'm
is
assuming it's
huge.
all based off of match day,
They make the
broadcasting, and
most- they make the
commercial.
most money on match days in Europe.
Mhm.
Surely
What's
sponsors
it-
come into it as well, right?
I guess
Huh?
if you
commercial,
factored in
yeah.
as
I don't, know
well.
if they count- I don't know if they- I don't know if they factor those in. To the-
My question is why aren't we lower? I want
aren't we
this
lower?
club. I want this club to be earning 100 million because if these dickheads are spending 60 million on Garnacho.
Oh,
that would
well,
get-
yeah,
All right, let's not jump the gun. We'll get to
Hold
Garnacho
yours.
eventually.
Okay.
This isn't Carefree Lewis. We have organization here and
Our
some
sporting
type of
directors also. Sporting directors.
Is that you
some
taking
type
shots?
of- No, I'm not taking shots. I love Lewis, but we just run different
Lewis is
shows.
taking shots, man.
We have some type of consortium here. I don't even know what the word is. There's a word that starts with a C that I want to use, but my head is so lost I can't think of it right
I have
now.
a word.
So
That's because we sell very well, Mike. It's because we sell very well. We sell very well.
I know it's Chris. I thought the same thing. I didn't want to say it. But
I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say it,
I
but-
did need the stream to calm me down because prior to the stream, I was ready to freaking just not do it. I'll just say there. But yeah. So in terms of revenue, Chelsea didn't do so hot last season. I mean, Andrew brings up a very good point. We weren't in Europe. Also, the fact that we don't have the stadium revenue. Also, the fact that maybe Chelsea weren't doing so hot. I don't know. I don't think that it really affected much of the match day revenue. If anything, our match day revenue went
Well,
up.
if you,
so.
if you think about it, last season, Spurs won in Europe as well, and I think they went out the cups quite early as well. So that would, you know, if they'd actually, you know, they probably would have made more. But that their biggest revenue is the stadium and probably match days. Match day revenue is probably huge compared, you know, probably well over 100 million. You know.
This guy, the lack of understanding from you, Mike Doss, is absolutely ridiculous. We amortize our contracts. In total, maybe we spent 1.5 million, but
Wanna
when
show
you
how
pay
much
it
we
off
sold as
season by
well?
season, it's not that much.
You want to show
God
how much
damn it,
how
Doss.
much
Big up,
Chelsea
Doss.
made over just selling players as well.
We also did,
That's
we
what I
also
mean.
did sell a
Yeah.
lot of players.
It
Yeah.
balances itself out.
Yeah. But yeah, it's if we had a better stadium, the revenue would be nicer, but I mean, I'm kind of with CP. Maybe we don't deserve it. So
no, but I think if we get top 4, then the broadcasting is going to shoot up again.
yeah,
And then
Of course.
whatever the
We'll Club World Cup revenue as well.
Yeah, so I
Shirt
think we'll be close to
sponsor,
that 700
shirt
million
sponsor,
range the next
shirt sponsor,
financial
and
year.
then you know the kit will change again. Maybe a
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, that comes under commercial. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jordan
so I think
Evans.
we'll be around 700 million, like close to that Tottenham range by next year, hopefully.
yeah. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, it's
Funny
just
enough,
team in Red Dam, really, there, Josh. That's all it was. It was a massive downfall of being out of Europe altogether. Remember, not just like out of the Champions League, but being out of Europe
For 2
altogether.
years, yeah.
yeah, we weren't even in Conference League. You guys reckon Conference League put a little bit of a dent in that?
What do you mean?
Probably
You mean as the going up after this season? I'm sure
Goes
there'll
up
be
like a little
it'll be a
smidgen.
Yeah, should be a
Yeah, it's
tiny
probably
bit.
not much.
I'm sure we're big ratings everywhere else apart from England, really, when it comes to that competition. No one else has really
Yeah.
watched that competition for anyone else apart from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's face it. You know, who else? But yeah, the lack of European football is what killed the revenue. Also, probably what was the big difference? It was like, what, a 70 odd million pound difference or something like that
Mhm.
between the
that's a lot.
Sounds about
yeah,
right.
so you add that. Say if we just took the difference and added on to what we made in a year, we're looking at what 620 or something million we make or something like that. Yeah, so it's one of those. So
No, I understand.
yeah, it's on Paramount. Yeah, it's
It
on
does.
Paramount. So it should be. It won't be Champions League money, but it'll be additional to the revenue. So
Yeah, it's not as like you said, not like Champions League money, but it's still a little bit. But it not having the Champions League money, we see makes a big difference in the finances, and hopefully, and I still hold to this even despite what's been happening lately. Hopefully, if we get top 4, and it's not even an if, like we must get top 4. So I'll say when we get top 4. I don't want to sound arrogant about it, but there's no if, ands, or but about it. When we get top 4, when we get top 4, hopefully the transfer strategy changes a little bit. Hopefully, it's a lot of hopefully on that one. Man, I'm getting fed up.
Today, fuck hope. I'm embracing the darkness. Fuck hope.
Yeah. God damn it. This club is testing my patience. Let's continue on. So a little bit of a tangent here in regards to Chelsea related things. I mean, it is Chelsea related, but maybe over the summer Chelsea related. Oshimhen. There's a bit of an Oshimhen update. Not Oshimhen to Chelsea, but what kind of went down between Oshimhen and Chelsea in terms of the deal that happened over the summer that collapsed. So we have here a tweet from Chelsea Transfer News here. So apparently a close friend of Osimhen's and journalist Laba, Napoli turned down and frustrated every club interested in him. The only club they didn't frustrate was Chelsea, and Chelsea ended up messing up any deal. He's only focused on playing right now in Galatasaray. Anything transfer will be later. So I guess that whole little clause in his contract, big up Scott, that clause in his contract that he would, be able to take an exit on January, doesn't look like it's going to be something that he's going to pay attention to, considering, I think someone mentioned this last stream, he's probably pretty grateful to Galatasaray for, picking him up when he didn't have any options.
No, I said this last stream that the report from Nigeria right after Galatasaray was that he wants to thank them for him getting a place to play. So that's why he's going to stay with them.
Because he was going to be without a club pretty much. Yeah, that was kind of the whole shtick, that he kind of ruined his career. And luckily for him, Galatasaray came in, swooped in and helped him out, So I get where he's coming from. I think that's, respectful of him to do that. Obviously, he didn't know how he was going to feel about it at the time. I think he still wanted a move that was better than Galatasaray, so there was that clause in there. But he did get rid of his agent. Napoli did make things, more difficult, as they always do, with De Laurentiis and all them. And yeah, Chelsea did kind of fuck it up. I kind of wish we knew the true details of it, but it seemed that it was just between Chelsea taking too long and the agent just making things difficult, plus Napoli on top of it. It just all kind of crashed into each other and led up to be a disaster. And it'd be nice to have an Osimhen right now, I'm not going to lie to you, to back up or, take the lead for Chelsea right now and have Jackson be a backup, because Jackson's struggling right now. I think, 6 or 7 games without a goal?
6, I think.
Marshall, I want to reword something you just said.
Sure.
It would nice to be having a signing right now.
Don't worry, here we go. It's happening.
Well, you have to specify.
When that here we go hits, I'm gonna hit the fucking wall. That's what's gonna hit.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Yeah, great.
We still got 7 days.
Close it now, please.
Yeah, I agree. Close it now.
No, but you forget. We have signings. It's for Bluco. It's for Strasbourg.
Oh no, shit! Yeah, I forgot. We just signed the 18. They're not even 18-year-old Kazakh today. Great, fantastic. Another one.
I don't know if you're going to get through all this news, by the way, Marshall. I just don't. I wouldn't hold my breath at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think you are.
Don't hold your breath.
I think you might need to do this another day. The whole news.
Probably 5 hours.
I'm 5 away, and
I think
the 5 in the middle.
I think that's very. These guys are
the 5 in the middle
right now. They'd be frothing at the mouth right now.
Oh, yeah. I'll
be honest with you. I'm ready.
I would do this. Pick the best 2 and then try from there. Seriously. Do you know what I mean? Don't waste your time on irrelevant like Vlahovic. He's not coming. Don't worry. Move it. He's not, he
I
wasn't
say,
coming.
Marshall, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you
Oh,
now.
Rangers leveled. Rangers scored.
Yes.
I don't know what I've missed.
Oh my!
If there is anything relating to kit, sponsor, stadium, any of that nonsense, I'm not fucking interested.
You missed all that.
By the way,
Good.
you're lucky you
I'm
were
not
there 10 minutes
interested.
ago
Yeah,
discussing
or
this.
Strasbourg.
You
Or
missed
Strasbourg.
all
Fuck
that.
Strasbourg.
No, I give a shit about Strasbourg.
Yeah,
I'll
it
move
doesn't
this
say.
over here. I'll move this over here.
Actually, Marshall, tell us what you've
so now
actually
we-
got. What are the 5 stories? Can we just?
Okay, I got you.
You're wrong,
The
perfect.
5. The next
Yeah.
one was gonna be Vlahovic.
Get rid of
Then after that was center back situation, right?
Oh, well, Chalobah's back, so move.
So Renato Veiga, here we go.
Well, he left the bucket.
Discussing the recall situation.
Fez.
Cassidy,
One.
Gittins,
No, fuck that up.
and then
No, we're going for
Garnacho.
someone else instead.
Yeah, we're not getting Gittins. Fuck that. Go to the...
Yeah, the Gittins was gonna lead me into the Garnacho situation. I might as well just go into the Vlahovic thing real quick then, since we're here. Vlahovic to Chelsea. No, it's not happening. Just letting you know right now. But let's read tweets just so we can entertain the story anyways. So Vlahovic, apparently we're dealing with Juve because of Renato Veiga. Breaking: Chelsea are considering a move for Juventus striker Dusan Vlahovic after they held talks to offload their defender Renato Veiga to the Italian club, according to Times Sport. Very soon after that, Fabrizio pretty much said no context taking place between Chelsea and Juve for Dusan Vlahovic. He's not a name on Chelsea's list right now. According to Capology, Dusan Vlahovic earns 360k pounds. All right, 360k pounds, 360k thousand pounds gross per week. I do not see this deal materializing unless he's willing to take a significant pay cut or the move is structured as a loan deal with the current club covering a portion of his weekly wages, which I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Vlahovic is a bad striker.
Yes, he is.
I'm okay.
On loan, it's
Let me
fine.
rephrase that. I think Jackson, in terms of output, is a better striker than Vlahovic this season. But Vlahovic does provide a different profile.
He's a robot.
Do we need that profile? Don't know.
Marshall, I'll tell you what he provides. No pressing. He's good in the
That's
air.
definitely true.
Hit or miss in terms of goals. Can't play in a
Good
possession
technique.
system as we're seeing this season.
Decent ball striking.
Terrible
Good ball
ego.
striking.
Yep.
Good ball strike.
Does he have a bad ego? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
he does.
Bro, go and look at his quotes that he said about while he was on international duty earlier this week. Or not earlier this week, sorry, earlier this season. Flau said, I'm glad I'm here in the I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, I'm glad internationally the coach makes me do less like press and defend.
Wow.
And he says, I like playing with Mitrovic, who's good in the air and can hold the ball up. Let me find the quotes, man. It's something like that, where it's like, because it allows me to play to my strengths.
Mhm.
And also the narrative, he's a like top elite level striker, 20-goal season only once in his career. Like he's never done it more than once.
Yeah, that was in Fiorentina, right?
Yeah, it wasn't even at Juventus.
Yeah, I think this is our next.
He is currently on
Milinkovic
7.
Savic. You guys remember how often we were linked to Milinkovic Savic?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Vlahovic
Yeah,
is currently on
next
7 in 17 appearances in the league.
Mm-hmm. He's been fit this season too, right?
Yep. He's missed one
So,
game,
Hasn't done him much good though.
I think.
Yeah, not really. So yeah,
Here we go.
Of this,
Marshall, let me read you verbatim his quotes.
I thought you said
It is a bit easier for me when there is another
You can't say,
striker.
here we go on the channel.
Yeah, don't say that,
Come
Scott.
on,
You
everyone's
scared
on
me.
edge.
Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize. Let's go. There we go.
PTSD.
It is a bit easier for me when there is another striker because Mitrovic holds up the ball and engages in aerial duels, so I can make more of my own characteristics and quality. So he prefers playing in a front two. Fantastic. The coach does not require many defensive duties from me, so that makes it easier too. With my physicality, I can't really run that much, and I'm not as fresh in my finishing when I've been working so hard. And that's who we're getting, apparently, or we were linked with, but are not linked with.
Yeah, that turns me off from the player. I'm not gonna lie to you.
doesn't fit the system. Again, another one that doesn't fit the fucking system. Seems to be a pattern this window.
How like
That
I don't
literally
know
reminds me of Lukaku. Like I just want to use all my energy just to score goals and nothing else.
He doesn't even
That's what
score
it
goals
reminds
like that though. He didn't even score more.
No. I'm not saying he does. I'm saying it's like Lukaku, where he's like, I want to use my energy just to score goals. I don't want to press.
Well,
you know.
cool. If he got over 20 goals,
lazy.
no. If he can get over 20
Yes, it
goals,
is lazy.
If he can get over 20 goals, then cool. But he can barely make it past 15 goals. He's average. He's worse than Jackson. So why the fuck would Chelsea look at him?
It's just a different.
And the wages, like we said before.
Oh, the wages are
Yeah,
crazy.
I think it's like a loan, not an offer.
He's scammed.
I think it was a loan, is what we were looking at because of the whole Veiga thing. It's the wrong guy we're looking at from Juventus, or apparently we're looking at.
Yeah. It's unfortunate too, because like at his time in Fiorentina, he looked like a very promising striker, and it's just not like. Part of me is also really hesitant because if you can't make it work, no disrespect to Serie A, but if you can't make it work at Serie A, I really have my doubts that you'll make it work here at Juve, or not Juve.
We're Juve now.
EPL, you know, the Premier League.
He gives me mad Piontek vibes.
Oh, dude, I remember the Milan days. Oh, fuck yeah,
bro! Like this is he scored so many goals at Genoa, went to Milan and did fuck all, and has done fuck all since he's left. I think his season, he's currently in Turkey. I think this is his best goal scoring season. I think since Genoa. I could be wrong, but I think his current goal scoring is his best since Genoa.
Yeah. So for me, it was a pipe dream anyways when you look at the salary as well. So it just wasn't going to happen. But taking Surfer's advice, I'm going to keep it moving because let's get to this next segment here. Veiga, it's a here we go. It happened.
You're not taking my advice. I said to get rid of it. You're not taking it at all.
I'm getting, I'm being more efficient. I'm getting it quicker. Because I think by the time we end the Garnacho, everyone's gonna leave. So I'm holding you guys hostage to a little bit at least.
Fair enough, Marshall. Fair enough.
Because even I might leave after Garnacho. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm so fucking fed up. So on Renato Veiga. So it's finally here we go, ladies and gents. It's confirmed. It started off with this: Juventus have entered the race to sign Renato Veiga. Talks have started with Chelsea. Borussia Dortmund also remain in the talks. I believe Napoli was also involved in this as well at some point. Then we continue on. Chelsea and Juve will be in contact again tomorrow for Renato Veiga as he has good chance to leave. Juve are pushing to agree on formula of the deal. No plans to sell Tosin Adarbayo as he's an important player to Maresca, and players are also happy at Chelsea. We'll cover that another day when we're not as angry. Understand, Juve have sent loan proposal to Chelsea for Renato Veiga after talks exclusively revealed last week. Negotiations continue with 3 clubs in the race, while Juve are open to loan with no buy option clause included. Juve are currently ahead of Borussia Dortmund. I think the third club was Napoli. And then here it is. So Fabrizio Romano, the exclusive. Juve agreed deal with Chelsea to sign Renato Veiga. Here we go. Loan deal for €5 million loan fee until June. No buy option clause. And then player back to Chelsea at the end of June for Clubs World Cup. Veiga expected to play as center back in Juve. And then we have another one here from the Zargantilla. Chelsea have acknowledged Renato Veiga wants first team football to maintain his World Cup place and sanction his loan to Juve. He's also keen to play at center back there. Loan, no option. He is coming back. And then lastly here, Chelsea were insistent that Renato Veiga would not be loaned and could only leave permanently this month. But situation changed 48 hours ago, and he's been given the green light to join Juve on loan until the end of the season. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
So, I mean,
I think it's 4.2 million euros, and then I also saw a report that there's also 850K in add-ons by the end of the season. So you're looking at 5 million. What the 5 million loan fee for a guy we bought for 12 million?
Yeah, I'll just
money-wise. That's all I gotta say.
I'll just say my piece on this in terms of, money. It's a good deal for Chelsea, but in terms of strategy, it doesn't make any sense because I guess we're just going to rely on Malagusta to be a backup for Cucurella if he's not available at right back, or whoever else can play the left back role, whether it be Achimpong or I don't know, maybe Reese if he's even available. I don't know. It just strategically it doesn't make sense. We did recall Caleb Wiley who can play left back, but
No, he can't.
He's out for a long time. He's out for the long term.
Also, he's also.
He's been a mess.
We called him back. We called him back.
By the way, no, I need people to understand, because I've said this before, but I need people to understand, because I've seen people talking about him playing left back. This is a guy who was a winger, who primarily, when he was at Atlanta, played left wing back in a 5, has never played as an inverting wing fullback before, and has never played as a centre back in a 3, ever. He started as a winger. If you're expecting him to come into this team midway through a season after just having an injury, multiple injuries, by the way, it's not even just one, multiple injuries, and affect this team positively, you're smoking Budge. You are smoking the most grass ever, like someone has ever smoked before.
How would you know that, bro?
Ahmed, I don't got the time to
Yeah,
I don't have the time, brother. I don't care. I don't.
Straight at you. I mean, what an ego you've got. You think he's directed that message right at you? The hell?
All ego.
With this Veiga thing, yeah, like this, I have so many things to say about it, but it would take too long, and I want to speak about the important things. So who gives a shit? Like, just who gives a shit, man?
You know, I think obviously today is going to be serious, and even I myself, I'm a.
No, you're not. You already. The first words that came out of your mouth were not.
Like,
yeah.
You know, like, listen, losing Renato Veiga, obviously, on some level, in terms of like depth, is going to be painful, whether we like to admit or not, right? Again, Gusto playing left back this season in particular hasn't been great, right? And of course, and that's just been obviously factually honest. Even when he's been inverting on that side, not been great at all. You know, we're really now just relying on, respectfully, Cucurella. And, you know, there may even come a time, imagine if Reece James is not fit, which is a sad reality that we have to expect, right? And then let's say Gusto's out. Gusto's out. Bro, there may be a reality where we may see Levi Colwill back to his left back duties, bro. I know people have not thought of that, but that is a tangible reality if Cucurella goes out. You know what I mean? That's a tangible reality until we go back to Poch Irritable.
Over there, put Achimpong right back.
I don't know, just put. Isn't it there's some guy named Ishe Samuel Smith that's been hyped up as left back for Chelsea youth.
Academy player, yes.
He has, yeah, but the thing that concerns me is, again, he's like, I'd understand that, and I'm not even saying he's a bad option, but it's like he's never trained with the first team as far as we're aware this season. So again, it's another thing where you're going to call him up, have him train with the first team, and have to throw him in straight away, because unless you're going to do that now, which we don't know if they're going to do that, but they'd have to do that now. Trying to do that later on just seems like stupidness to me, but just more piss poor planning from these directors and everything, and I don't know why I'm surprised. And I'm not surprised. Actually.
This is Chili B redemption. This is what's happening right now.
He plays another game for this football club.
I saw like
we got Chilwell.
Chris, don't forget that. Chris, don't pretend like you forgot Joe was in this club.
I actually genuinely forgot for a second. Like, we could use
You
Chilwell.
know his memory, dude.
We can use him for like the Carabao, FA Cup.
Chris, today's not the day. Chris,
and
don't
the
lose
Conference
this.
League and the
Chris,
Conference
today's
League.
not the day for this bullshit, Chris. Today's not the day for this bullshit.
Chris is definitely on his knees for Chilwell, man.
I think today's news day is giving me a fever.
No need for the pause for that one.
My temperature is up.
No need for
Poor
the
face, man. You know he's got an ACL injury. He can't get on his knees for anyone, let alone Ben Chilwell.
I mean, it's right. I can't ban
I needed this, man.
Exactly. That's really
I need the laugh.
Yeah, I need the laugh, man. I needed this.
Before the inevitable crash out.
By the way, there's almost 80 of you guys watching. Smash up the like button, please, for my sanity. Like, I'd rather be reviewing a Chelsea loss in the news than I'm gonna have to.
You know, why am I so red today, bro? What the fuck's wrong with my skin,
bro?
Blushing.
But
you're
red
angry,
because
man.
you're angry, just like everyone else. Like my temperature, I felt my forehead, bro. I feel like I have a fever, and I know I'm not getting sick.
I've never in my life gotten a headache from anger. I have a headache today.
You see how I'm moving on Discord. You see how I'm moving on Twitter.
Angry.
I've had enough. I've had enough,
bro. I need to stop calling him. I need to start calling Marshall. Yeah, Marshall SA, bro. Because like the amount of essays I've seen on his Discord.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I don't have Twitter. I need to see
you need
this.
to
Bro, I
take.
feel
You need
like
to take
that's,
general.
that's a little culturally insensitive, but it's okay. I forgive you.
I mean, it takes on to know
Man
what
said
I'm
Marshall
cultural.
essay.
You know what I mean?
Orderly way to you as well.
Whoa! But anyway, listen, Marshall, it takes on to know what they say, but that's what I'm gonna say.
You're such a fucking
Did you
prick.
just say the equivalent? I know you are, but what am I? Is that what you just did?
Yes.
Nah, man, I didn't know you had Mexican in you, bro.
Listen, man, the game's the game. That's
He
what
has
I'm
what
gonna
in
say.
Hey, yo, he has a what in him?
Nah, man, I didn't know you had a Mexican in you.
Hey, man. Hola, man. Mi amo Ahmed, man. Hola, mi amo Ahmed.
Yo,
Okay,
the
man, that is
one to
so
your
good.
red faced man couldn't take the spice. Is that what you're saying?
I needed this stream. I needed this stream. Okay. What do we even talk? I don't even know what the fuck we were
Chill,
talking
We'll
about.
continue on Veiga. Chill,
Veiga.
Piss off, Chris.
Yeah.
No, like he can play against nobody.
Just
Come
brought
on.
up Chilwell for some reason.
But
I don't
okay.
think again.
You just don't want to see his face, right? That's what it is.
No, Chris, let's be guys. Yeah, let's be realistic about Chilwell, right? Chilwell has, I think he's only played 45 minutes for us.
Yeah.
Right, 45 minutes he's played for us. He's barely getting his starts. The man doesn't believe in him. Even the ownership doesn't believe in him. We know that you can't necessarily now work in a back four. We saw what happened to him last season as well. Like, we need to be honest, bro. This guy is not gonna cut the butter for us, man.
The
Oh,
what?
God, I just realised
The what?
something.
The butter.
Did you say cut the butter?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Did you put the bags in the Did you put the bag in the fries again? Is this what they said?
Bro.
I just said mustard.
Man can't cut the butter.
Mustard, right? She said cut the butter. What the hell?
This is bad, man. Bad day at the office today,
Listen,
man.
we're back
Bad
to Taylor, man.
This is
Fucking
a bad-
like you, man.
Smash the like button, people. Smash the like button.
Hey, I just carry on. I don't know.
Lost for words.
I've
lost
just got it now.
words.
I've just got why we're buying Garnacho.
Play that back.
Left back, baby. Back up, left back, like that.
No.
We've already got a £62 million left back.
My temperature's gone up like
Right
2
there and then.
degrees. Oh my
No,
days.
man.
In terms of the Veiga
as
thing,
long as,
before we move
as long
on,
as he comes in and cuts the butter, we're all good.
not even cut the mustard, cut the cheese, nothing. Just cutting butter here.
Cut the cheese is a different thing, but yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the Veiga thing, though, like I personally have somewhat of a hard time putting all the onus on the directors for this one. I feel like if the Portuguese call up never happened, none of this happens.
What I don't get is this, right? It's a loan, he's coming back. The report said he's worried about a World Cup place. That's in a year's time. Does that mean he's coming back? He's going to be a regular next season? Because I don't see him being a regular.
That's one of the things I was going to speak about. Like, I'll speak about it. What's the plan when he comes back? Is he playing centre back for us?
Exactly.
Do they see him as a centre back going forward? If they do, why don't they just play him?
Wow.
I think they're gonna sell him.
Here's
It has
the
to-
Then why don't you just include a fucking option now? Then
Yeah,
what's all this
exactly.
fucking about with it?
So what? We think he's going to like do well, and I know what this is. I know I didn't include an option of him. They think he's going to storm it in Juventus. They'll add on about £5 to £8 million more on what they can get on a profit of him next season in the summer. That's what this is. I don't understand it because there's no way he's coming back as a centre back, especially if you like have Chavez going anywhere, but even for finding back fit, you want to bring in another couple of centre backs, like one of them, Gurley or something like that. He's not getting in front.
Well, we just bought Sarr. So,
Exactly. So you got
the fuck is
Aston
the
Villa
plan here?
merging Sarr, Fafana, Colwell, and
Potentially
possibly
Chalobah, depending on what happens going forward.
Chalobah possibly, Gurley potentially coming in, or another centre back. I don't just.
Yeah, what's the planning? And who's going to play left back the rest of the season? Like we said,
Exactly.
what's the plan? With
I already gave you an answer. You didn't like it.
so it's these are our options. Hang on.
You're actually nasty.
As
No,
it
like
stands,
I actually think you can play.
so what we're saying is,
He won't play.
hang on. So what we're saying for Conference League with Kukurea is out. Our left back options are Reece James or Gusto.
Mhm.
Great. Samuel Smith, who's never played a minute of first team football before. Wiley, who's never played for Chelsea before or as an inverted left back, or Ben fucking Chilwell?
I actually thought he had a good 45 minutes when he did play.
Oh, shut up, Chris.
Shut up, man.
No, I remember. I'm pretty sure I remember. Like we actually he played
Barrow,
better.
for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Barrow.
Exactly. This is his level.
Oh,
This is lower level. That's it. We should play him in those games.
Yeah, but Chris, you said start him in the FA Cup. Do you know who we're playing in the FA Cup next?
It's actually
playing
someone
Villa?
decent. No.
We're playing
Brighton.
Brighton, that's the
We're
game.
playing Premier League team in the FA Cup.
Okay, I mean,
It's fucking wild. I'm hearing Ben Chilwell hype in 2025.
the conference.
Year of the Lord.
I don't know who we have in the conference league, but he can play against.
He's not registered in the Conference League squad.
Wait, I thought we had to do that.
Oh, yeah, he isn't.
Chilwell's not registered.
Mike.
Maybe he has to
my
play the one
God.
game in the Premier League, take one for the team.
No, Chris.
Oh my god.
Crack me up.
We have to
bro.
rest Garnacho sometimes.
Oh man, so yeah, no, it's a weird one because I don't know what's gonna happen when he comes back. I'm of the mindset. Listen, this is just take it with a pinch of salt. Just throwing shit on the wall and seeing what sticks. I have a feeling when he comes back, maybe they try to sell him. I genuinely don't know. I can't predict anything with this, guys.
We should have fucking swapped him for Douglas Luiz and just have it done with and to leave it like that. That's what we should have done.
Exactly.
I would have much preferred that.
sure,
We'll
sure.
talk about
There was new
this later in the
reports.
show.
I saw from Will from Sarcasm. There was new reports that we're still trying to go for Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, that was in the evening.
Yeah,
Standard.
I have
Not seen anything-
tweets on it.
Not seen anything else from him.
Yeah.
That's what
We'll go if we even get to that point of the show today. We'll go over Douglas Luiz. Let's go on to the next part that may cause a crash out, may not. I think there's a little bit of overreactionariness in terms of this story, and I think there's a bit of too much conspiracy going on in terms of this story as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So this is in regards to pretty much the whole situation with the recall and apparently Santos now being for sale. So let's start off with the first tweet here. So being told Caleb Wiley's loan deal at Strasbourg has been canceled due to injury. However, Chelsea are reportedly exploring the option of sending another player on loan to Strasbourg to strengthen Liam Rossonier's squad. We continue on. Enzo Maresca. Romeo Lavia's injury is worse than Enzo Fernandez's one. We don't know how long they're going to be out, but hopefully not long. Meaning we have Caicedo and maybe KDH in that pivot. If you want to consider him. Cucurella, maybe, I don't know, but it's looking really slim pickings.
Yeah.
I don't know how
It's
is
looking-
Cucurella
it's-
play that when we have no left back.
Well, that's what he played. Oh, yeah,
No,
that's a good point.
he came on later on.
Yeah.
He brought Gusto on
That's
left
a
back.
good
He
point.
could go to mid.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
moved him up.
that's a good
backwards.
point. That's a good point. So update on Lesley Ugochukwu and Andrew Santos. Enzo Maresca on if Chelsea are considering a recall for either loanee. No, because we don't know if it's a problem for them, include in regards to Romeo Lavia and Enzo Fernandez. Just that we don't know if they will play next game. Now, this was before the news broke out that Lavia was going to be out for 5 weeks, I believe. Am I incorrect in saying that? 5 weeks, Lavia?
It was
I
4
think they've
weeks.
got a number of
I
it.
don't
It just said it's-
I didn't think
About a
they were
month.
one.
Basically, more.
People were
They said.
saying 4 to 5 weeks from what I read.
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah, about a month for Lavia out. Enzo Fernandez 2 weeks. Well, maybe a week. He may or may not be available for the City game. If he
I
is
reckon he'll be on
available,
the
it's likely being rushed. But we will see. We continue on. The latest here, as of the 21st of January, we have here Simon Johnson from the Athletic saying that the prospect of midfielder Lesley Ugochukwu being recalled from his loan at Southampton is unlikely. Now that he is starting to play more regularly under new coach Ivan Juric. Chelsea are leaning towards keeping both Ugochukwu and Santos on loan. They want Santos to keep starting games and are a lot happier that Ivan Juric is using Ugochukwu. I have always been told André Santos, and this is Matt Law, this is a reference tweet from the 9th of January. I have always been told André Santos will spend the season at Strasbourg and come back as a first-team squad player. They fully commit and believe it's the best. I have heard nothing to throw me off that path, but never say never with this ownership, which that last line, you're not wrong. Matt Law also saying here 2 days ago, Chelsea will therefore assess their midfield options before the transfer window shuts and consider whether they need to recall a loanee such as Lesley or André Santos, or even try to make a new signings. And that's probably where Douglas Luiz comes into all this conversation, but we'll discuss that later. Chelsea are open to signing a midfielder before the window closes, possibly a loan for the rest of the campaign. If it's the right player and deal. Chelsea are looking to sign a midfielder in the summer if one does not arrive this window. So Simon Johnson saying that we will likely go back into the transfer window in the summer for a midfielder, on top of, also having Lesley as well as André Santos available in the club. Several clubs have contacted Chelsea for a summer transfer of André Santos, one of which is Bayern Munich. It is almost out of the question he will return to Chelsea this window. He will remain in France. This is coming from Eduardo Burgos.
Story from the summer. I remember reading the same thing in the summer.
Yeah.
As well.
This was essentially the tweet that kind of got the snowball rolling for the whole crash out. Yeah, it was a complete crash out on this whole idea that the ownership are going to sell Santos, which I'm not leaving that out of the question. It could happen, but I'm not, thinking in that mindset right now. Breaking news, again, from June 11th of 2024, just rehashing here. Breaking news, Chelsea are not interested in selling or loaning André Santos next season. Santos has been earmarked to stay at Chelsea, and it's seen as a great fit to how Maresca wants to play as a number 6 or 8. This is coming from The Athletic of summer of last year. And a reminder as well, again, this is this whole narrative that Chelsea, everything is profit. It's not necessarily the case. Felix Johnson had tweeted here some time ago in 2023 in regards to the whole Levi Colwill saga. Understand, despite being told Colwill is not for sale, Liverpool have spoken to Levi Colwill's camp again, stating even at records price, they would be interested. He's one reason they haven't signed a CB. Liverpool also inquired to Chelsea directly. Chelsea reiterated he is not for sale and will offer him a long-term contract, but will have to be within a new wage structure. Colwill will talk to Poch after the U21 Euros. Southgate told Levi he wants to start him in the Euro 2024, but he has to be a regular starter of the season. Further to this, Klopp has held phone call with Colwill directly. Chelsea are extremely angered by Brighton and Liverpool's persistence, as they have said many times directly that Levi Colwill is not for sale. Chelsea are contemplating reporting Liverpool to the FA, which that's pretty intense. I don't remember this part here. But yeah, it's a bit of a... Okay, my 2 cents in the situation. I would not mind the recalling of either of these players. I can't say I don't understand why they're not doing it. Part of it, the biggest part of it is I'm more inclined to recall André Santos than I am Lesley, because at least André Santos has been getting minutes for the first half of the season and playing consistently, whereas Lesley only just started getting minutes because of Juric, and it would be really shitty because this is the thing. And I'm sure you guys understand, but this is for more so the masses that are listening to this. If you recall Santos, if you recall Lesley Guchuku, the moment Lavia or Enzo or whoever are fit, then these players who are starters in their respective teams now become bench players. And it does stint the development. Now, there are people saying that, oh, well, the reason we're keeping them on loan is because we want to keep their values up, which is not incorrect. It is true. You do keep the value up when they are playing minutes, when they are, consistent starters for their respective teams. And that the idea is to sell them in the summer, which I am inclined to believe that's not the case. I know that Chelsea do have this habit of trying to find profit. We see it with Cassidy, we see it with Renato Veiga, we see it with a lot of players. But I think Santos is one of those that does not fall under the category. I think Lesley Ugochukwu could potentially be that player that gets sold for a profit. I just don't think Santos is that one, considering how we've kind of bubble wrapped him and treated him and since he's arrived at the club. But I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place when it comes to recalling these guys. It's nice to see that it's still being considered. It's not out of the question. But I understand both perspectives as to why to not recall them because of the playtime. I understand why to recall them because of how scarce and how we're going to essentially run Moises Caicedo down to the ground at this rate too. There's a lot of perspectives here. So like, I really don't know where I want to stand on this. I still lean more on the side of bring one of them back, please. Cause Moises Caicedo is just too important.
The easy answer is to bring Lesley Ugochukwu back. Very simple. He's in a Southampton side that's probably going to break the record for the least amount of points ever gained in a Premier League season. That was 11 at Derby. So he's not going to gain anything really of staying there and playing in a loser team. Talking about Lavia, can't rely on his fitness. So he's probably going to play a lot more than people actually probably realise, whether it's on the bench or actually starting. So I would actually bring him. He was the easy one to bring back. Or if you're not going to bring him back, then go for a Douglas Luiz or someone on loan. That's the thing I don't get. You cannot. There's no way. Well, I say there's no way you should. Logic dictates you should not leave without another midfield option out of this window. So their term assessing, how much time do you need to fucking assess? When one of Lavia's out till March, Enzo's now picked up an injury, and I can tell you right now because I know, and I'll speak for every Chelsea fan. When Caicedo went down the other day on the pitch with his knee, everyone shat themselves. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Chelsea everyone shat themselves. I'll tell you right now, because if he goes down injured, you can kiss top four, the limited chance at top four, you can kiss top four and your chuddies goodbye, because it's not happening. You know what I mean? So, you know, focusing all on, focusing on that other player we're trying to get, instead of the actual position that we actually need filling and reinforcement it's just another huge fucking rusty, hooky, bloody nail into these guys' coffin at this club for me. Okay? To wait until the 23rd of January now. We are the 23rd of January right now, and either one of these hasn't come back or we haven't got another midfield option is an effing disgrace. Okay? An effing disgrace, and should be fireable on the spot. And if it's Egg Bardi that's making these decisions not to get rid of these guys, then fucking bring Todd Bowley back in charge right now. Because I'll tell you this is another thing. That list of crimes that Lewis used to play at the start of his video with Paul Winstanley. Add this to it as well. Add another thing to it. Andre Santos, I can see the appeal of leaving him alone. He's playing really well at Santos, at Strasbourg. Do you know what I mean? They're going for a European place. Lesley Ugochukwu doesn't need to stay at Southampton. Doesn't need to stay. What's he going to learn from finishing on single-digit points in the Premier League season? Fuck all. You know what I mean? And I saw him against Man United. He was the best player on the pitch. Southampton took him off, and that's why they lost.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad I'm not the only one that saw that.
I've spoken about it before, but like this, I know hindsight's 2020, and it's easy to look back now, but these directors have made a mockery of every single January window we've had, even the first one. The Enzo Maresca, here we go on the final day on deadline day, masked how terrible that window is. Like, I read the transfers the other day, like, it's fucking dreadful. Outside of Santos and outside of Enzo, who I'll be real, was only really performed for about half his time here, and even half of this season, every other signing made in that window is either mid or shit. Like, and then last January did fuck all. Again, this January, nothing apart from potentially the most disgraceful transfer I've ever seen my football club do. And we have some of the transfers we've done are for literal criminals, and it's the most disgraceful transfer I've ever seen my football club do. If he signs, yeah, it's embarrassment. The summer was a sackable offence.
Yes,
on its own.
Didn't get a goalkeeper, didn't get a striker.
That was sackable. They had a stay of execution, and decided to hang themselves.
Yeah, Maresca. I tell you what, they should factor. You know what? They should be on their knees. No pause, no dilly. They should be on their knees for Maresca for how much he's protected these guys.
Oh,
for the rest
fact.
of the season.
This is true.
He is literally why they're still in a job. Maresca is literally why. So people haven't go at Maresca. You should actually praise him so much what he's done this season.
Yeah.
Protected these guys that they were so confident in doing Maresca's run that they came out with an interview saying how well they thought they'd built the squad overall. They actually came out and said that. They came out and said that. Are you on mute?
You're muted, Ahmed.
Oh,
Right,
no,
I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute. I'm not on mute. Just,
okay, sorry. You cutting the butter. That's all right. Yeah. So the fact that they had, the fact that they came out and said that, it's just, again, we said it all, didn't we? And wins cover everything. They cover what you think about the squad and players, because wins cover everything. It doesn't that. But we all said it in the summer. I don't think we discussed the midfield that much, but I think we were just like, well, if Lavia stays fit, we should be fine. Yada. But now it's proven Lavia's fitness is still an issue.
I don't think the Lavia thing was the issue, Andrew. Sorry to interrupt. I think the KDH thing was an issue. It was like, no, I don't think anyone expected KDH to be a complete outside of the game he had the other day, which was very good. No one expected him to be a complete nothing player, like for the season. Even if you thought he wasn't good, good enough for Chelsea, you thought he could at least contribute to a level of like, okay, you can put in an okay performance, you can be a good body. He's not. He hasn't even been that this season.
Yeah, I will say that it's probably that. He's probably still well, I think Maresca has done a lot of good. It still needs to follow a bit on him of not utilising some of the squad as best as he can. There's some options and rotation, like a KDH, for example, like that. So, but still, it goes up to the directors. And if Maresca doesn't want to use him, he doesn't want to use him. You have to accept that. Do you know what I mean? You have to accept that. If he doesn't feel they're good enough, they're not good enough. That's his prerogative to do so. But the fact that I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised at the fact that Vegas go in there with no option alone. Why the hell aren't we just doing a Douglas Luiz reversal on that? And that should have been it as well. Vegas going there on loan, no option. Douglas Luiz is coming here on loan, no option. That should have been the deal right there and then. No fee involved for either player. Just a straight up loan swap. Like that's what it should be.
In an hour and a half for us people in England, in an hour and a half, we will be 1 week away from the window closing. 1 week.
It shuts February 3rd.
It's February 3rd.
We got more days.
Yeah,
Why is it February 3rd? Oh shit, we got 3 more days.
More days of pain. I'm loving it.
Bro, great. We get to give these directors more days. Close the window now, by the way. I was going to say, I know I'm jumping the gun slightly, talking about what we talk about in more detail later on, but allowing the directors to get past the summer and not get sacked, and then giving them this window is like giving a live grenade to a child. You're going to get the result we're probably going to get because you gave a live grenade to a child. You gave this window to people who showed they were incompetent, and so they've done incompetent things. I don't know why we're surprised.
Okay. Okay. If you don't mind, I'm gonna step in a bit with this midfield situation. I think I get what Andrew is saying about the Douglas Luiz stuff, and I think that's fair. But I think before we even get to the Douglas Luiz situation, right? Okay, let's say with Andre Santos, I think logically speaking, he's clearly improving. He's actually developing as a player. Let's not really stop that development. I get that aspect of at least Andre Santos. But Lesley is in a losing side, bro, respectfully. Yeah. And one of the things I had, and I think it was from Alex Goldberg, was this idea that he's not going to get, apparently our midfielders that are going to come back are not going to get enough minutes. But I'm like, let's think about that logically, yeah? Let's actually think about that.
Starting minutes.
But I'm just saying though, let's think about that logically. The guy that's technically meant to be starting with the other two midfielders is consistently out, right? And also we have Conference League games coming up. We've got FA Cup games coming up, and Enzo is now gone out too, right? So on some level, whoever's gonna come in, whether it be Lesley or even Andre Santos, is definitely getting substitution minutes at best, right? As well. So for me, I'm like, what is worth more in gold? Yeah, games where you're losing with Southampton, or games where you are trying to either keep a lead or just control the pace of the game and doing stuff at Chelsea. And realistically, for me, for a young player, I would argue doing that stuff at Chelsea is much better. And for me, when you're hearing reports about the fact that the reason why they're not trying to bring them in is because they could potentially lose value in them. You know what I mean? Or they could be losing direct transfer. That's like that is disgusting, bro. Firstly, just the fact you are thinking money over the team getting to top 4 for me is actually disgraceful, bro. Genuinely, it's actually disgraceful. I'm sorry, bro. Like, it's genuinely so disgraceful.
Ahmed, I saw someone tweet this the other day, and the more you saying that is spot on, and the more I think about it, the more I think they're correct. They're treating this squad and transfers like it's a fucking stock market.
It's, bro.
They're more worried about getting their investment and making sure their stocks don't drop and everything than they are actually about trying to like invest in the team and make it and do anything with it to a level where we're going to compete. Like, you're on the cusp, we're on the cusp of being able to challenge for this title probably 2 or 3 years earlier than they expected. Instead of trying to change that, they're just acting the same way. They're just like they're doing the same things. So what's going to happen in 3 years when we should have been challenging the last 2 years anyway? And now you want to make serious signings, but Liverpool have already had a chance to strengthen. United potentially, we don't know what any of us are like. I think they're useless, but we don't know. City are given a chance to rebuild. Aston Villa are given a chance to invest more. Who knows what could happen with Forest? Because their owner, by the way, has shown he's willing to invest, and they have sneakily signed some good players. It's not a lot of players, yes, but they signed some good players. Like, you're allowing these teams to build. Like, I don't fucking understand what they're doing, and this data-driven bullshit. No, actually, I'll leave that point because I'm gonna talk about it when we speak about that fucking. I'm gonna lose my head.
I know, Marshall, you were gonna obviously. I think you wanted to talk to me. What were you gonna say, bro? Before
No, I was gonna say, like, in reference to what you were saying, like, what holds more value, substitute minutes versus, like, the minutes you play in Southampton, a relegation side. I think the way the directors see this whole situation, and the way, frankly, I see it, I think just minutes overall is the currency. And when you look at, and mind you, I'm of the side of recalling Santos because he's gotten at least half a season of minutes versus Ugochukwu, who's suffered up until this point where now he's finally playing. I think if you take Santos from the starting role he's at right now, the damage in development, if there even is any damage at all, is less because he's already had those minutes in the first half of the season, and now you turn him into a rotational player versus Ugochukwu, who barely had any minutes as it is up to this point, finally getting some minutes, and now you're going to stint that growth again because right now we're in a tough place between, the whole Crusader situation, and you stint that growth by saying, all right, well, fuck you, Lesley. We're going to use you as rotational. We don't need you to develop, but go ahead, Oliver.
They should be used as rotational.
So the question here I've got for you, and I'll ask everyone. Does anyone think Ugochukwu is going to stay beyond the summer?
No.
No.
I actually don't know. Like,
I don't know,
Santos
to be honest with you.
I understand. I think Santos will stay, by the way, just quickly.
Yeah.
But I understand people's worries because we keep hearing the same things. Outside of Colwell, every person they've said they've rated highly and thought of big has either been sold or has we could lost interest in. What's happening with Pires going forward? Where was the hype about Pires now?
Yeah,
because he was thought of as someone they were going to big up. That he was thought of as the next big thing, and then we signed Esteval, and now he's going to Strasbourg, and no one cares.
Even remember when we got these Scott, remember when he got those minor links? I know maybe that might have been possibly even an agent thing. Yeah, you look at that stuff, it makes you. And I was like worried, bro. Like, someone's got to go, even if that guy comes in, for example. And who is that?
Question: we are still being linked with that Argentinian kid, Mastantuano, I think his name is. Would it surprise anyone if we signed him in the summer and all of a sudden Santos is what they've forgotten about, and it's now Mastantuano is the next big thing at Chelsea?
Isn't Mastantuano a cam though? Doesn't he play?
I'm just saying, like, because it's it's the same with Pires and Esteval. Pires is a left sider at 8, and all of a sudden he's forgotten about because we're hyping up Esteval, even though Esteval's a right winger. Like, for me, this is what they do. They find this guy that they put on a pedestal and think he's the next big thing, and then they find someone else and it's shiny toy syndrome all over again.
But going back to what,
I find it
go ahead.
I find it so funny, right? So I look at our women's team, right? They're just about to sign arguably the best defender in the world in the US women's team, and they're already linked to the one of their best attackers in that team. For
The
next
best
season.
female attacker, but I linked the best female American attacker, bro.
You know what I mean?
They're linked with.
They signed up. They signed that player from Barcelona. They haven't stopped. They bought, and this isn't on Maresca, but they lost Emma Hayes, great coach. They probably, ironically, I think they might have improved on Emma Hayes in the manager they got, the Leon manager, who's won the Champions League and stuff like that. It's ironic the way they recruit for the women's. I know it's a different thing and everything like that, but I'm talking about who they're recruiting. And they're not letting them rest on their laurels. You know what I mean? They're not letting them Emma Hayes could go. It could be a big slide. No, they didn't do that.
Surfer, they are about to break the women's transfer record twice since they joined. They did it for Ramirez, and they're about to do it for Guillermo. They're also, as you said, they're being linked with Trinity Rodman, who's one of the best attackers in the world in the women's game. They're being linked with arguably the best left back in the women's game in Casually. They're being linked with another top player. Like the way they run that women's team,
they got Lucy Bronze on a free this summer, who was winning.
Maybe Todd is in charge of that side of the team. Maybe he took the women's team.
The way they're running that women's team is second to none. Why can't you do that for the men's team? What the fuck? Why can't you do that for the men's?
Marshall. To make it worse,
look at the men's team.
That team is so good that they don't have Sam Kerr this entire season, and they're leading the league by 7 points. Without arguably the best
She's undefeated. She's undefeated.
They're like 10 points clear in the league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, without the best striker in the world, by the way. The best striker in the world the entire season.
But just to add to your point.
But wait, she's on for an invincible season. She's right now invincible.
You know what makes it worse, by the way, yeah? Their team is already strong. They've got quality players. They're adding even more great, just as good, if not just slightly more better. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they already got world-class talent in the team. They're adding even more world-class talent. And it just makes you question.
Marshall, they're doing Real Madrid. Think of it like Real Madrid. They're like literally doing Real Madrid, but for the women's game.
They get some of these guys on a free, by the way, as well. They literally
they got the best right back in the world on a free, and Lucy Bronze from Barcelona on a free.
Then we go to the men's team. We go to the men's team. Arguably, the reason the club is on the map to begin with. We just don't.
I can't lie. Vasterot's comment is literally facts, bro. That's literally facts.
Yeah,
there's no other way to put it, bro. There's actually no other way to put it.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah.
The last comment, his last comment too. His last comment, bro. His last comment, like that is legit.
I just don't. It's like night and day. It truly is like night and day. Honestly, the recruitment, the way they recruit players, is honestly, you think that would be the other way around. No offense, but you would think that would be the other way around. But no, honestly, I just don't. I put that whoever's recruiting for them, put him in charge, instead of these two clowns, right now. And if it is, I think we're starting to realise this is more of an Egg Barley thing than an actual Todd Bowley thing. Because CP said it, and CP will probably explain a bit more. Look what Todd Bowley's doing with the Dodgers right now. Dodgers won another world title. They're not resting on the laurels. They're spending $1.5 billion recruiting the best players to take that title again.
They literally got the best young pitcher out of Japan in a generation.
Todd Bowley's involved.
But Andrew, look at what they did in the summer in terms of the summer we like when they first joined. Like look what Bowley did. We were linked with Ronaldo. Granted, he's washed, but he's better than some of the signings we're looking at. They were linked. We got Koulibaly, who was terrible, but at least like that was one of the best centre backs in the world, one of the best centre backs in Serie A for a number of years. Like they were linked with Neymar,
Raheem
Sterling, even like Fofana. You talk about young players, and again we're going to talk about the waste of space later. Cucurella, turned out to be the best left back in the league. Was the best left. He was the season we signed him. He was the best left back in the league the previous year.
Yeah, Man City wanted him.
Facts. And then even like Fofana, what I was gonna say is like at the time, even after the injury, he was still considered one of the best young centre backs in the world. That's what if you're gonna do young, do that. You go and sign best in class.
Yeah, and if you want to like, I'll bring out the baseball thing. So last year in their off season, they basically got the footballing version of Ruud Gullit because Shohei Ohtani pitches and bats. On top of that, they got the best young pitcher in all of Japan, just because why the fuck not? Then this season, they got the best up-and-coming young pitcher of Japan again, who's even better than the guy from last year, while they won a championship this year. On top of that, they got two other... People are asking if this is the best baseball team that has ever existed. That is how stacked that baseball team with the Dodgers is under Todd Bowley's minority ownership. They're
Remember,
actually
guys,
asking questions
the
of that's the
Yankees
best
existed.
team ever in the history of baseball.
The fact that that statement's being thrown out there, just remember, this is in the same era that the Yankees existed, and the Yankees have dominated baseball for a long time.
Because they used to spend too.
Yep.
They used to spend too.
Yep. And
Right,
and,
but the thing
and
is,
the
though, I
Dodgers
think
have the
what's
highest
easy
spend in
now-
total. So baseball has a luxury tax like the basketball, right? So if you spend over a certain amount, you have to pay double the money. The Dodgers are paying 110% on any dollar they spend. They literally bought a pitcher, paying him $70 million a year, but on their books they have to pay $150 million on him because of that luxury tax. Their wage book is over $1.6 billion on wages because they gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million.
Now we know. Of course, we know the pay is different and stuff like that. Finance is different. I'm talking about what they're
The
doing
ambition.
in terms of recruitment. In terms
That's
of
what I'm
not
saying, the
resting
ambition.
on their laurels. They won what? They won. Is it 5 leagues in a row? 4 leagues in a row? Something like that. They
Well,
want
the
to win
women's 5 in a
Champions
row.
League.
This is going to be 6
They
if
want
they
to
get it.
win the They want to win the Champions League. They've been to a final, I think, against Barcelona. Got absolutely
Yes, they
trounced.
have. They
But
got to beat him.
they want to buy the best. They want to keep the best. They want to keep it overturned. They lost Frank Kirby in the summer. Very good player. Stuff like that. Like CPC, Sam Kerr's been out for a very long time. Probably the best striker in the world in terms of women's football. But what I'm talking about is that they're going to sign the best. They don't need. Do you know what? You know the funny thing about? They don't even need to sign this defender, the US defender. They don't. They're just going to
Just because they can.
because they can, and that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do right now, but we're not, because we've got these two second car deals people who rather who look at their data, which is absolutely flawed and corrupt. If they're going to sign who we think they're going to sign, because nothing supports the data at all of this signing that they're going to do. It's and they're planning and just. It's just
Marshall, how many-
my mind. I mean,
How many have we got
if
left?
it's a choice now, and if this is Egbali's like overall plan, and they're just carrying out what he wants, then I'd rather talk
That's
about
what I
it.
said. I said I'm
I'm
Iqbali. If we get Garnacho, I'm
Still no
Iqbali out.
shirt sponsor as well.
Good day, people. How's everyone doing?
Fucking terrible. I can't lie.
Yeah, thank you,
Horrible, bro.
Thank you.
Life's good, man. I'll be honest. I mean, my life outside of football is good.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, outside of football, it's okay.
Currently
I'm
cutting the
cool.
butter.
There we go, man.
Cool, cool.
That's
The-
catch up too now.
Like a hot
Catch up,
knife
catch
through
up too.
Ketchup and butter are disgusting.
Yeah. The
Like
other
hot
day I
butter
was.
through, like hot butter through a knife, right there.
Mhm.
There we go, Surfer. There we go, Surfer, man. I love you.
Yeah, the other day I was having a conversation with somebody, I forget who, and I said we were having the whole Bowley versus Egbali approach, and while the Todd Bowley thing wasn't sustainable, I'm damn sure we're doing something by now. I'm telling you that much, because cool. The players, the first time around, the players that he tried to sign didn't work out. But remember, it was just Todd Bowley. Imagine if he had gotten some sporting directors to actually carry out that type of signing. We'd have one of the best teams in the world right now, with the same billion spent, with the same amount spent. So what that would mean is you see the tag that we get labeled with now. Oh, you spent £1 billion. We shouldn't be asking for players. It would be valid at that time because the money, how we would spend the money, would have been worth that tag. If you get what I'm saying. We spent $1 billion. Cool, we did spend $1 billion on quality, but instead we spent $1 billion on foolishness. It's like your mom gave you $150 and sent you to the shop to buy some flour and bread and some food with substance, and you go out and spend it on candy. You still spent all that money, still spent $150, but you spent it on foolishness, and it's not going to give you any substance. Get where I'm coming from? So at this point, I think Egbali is just business-wise turning over a profit and is not focused on winning first. That's just how I look at it. Because none of this makes sense. Why are we signing Garnacho? No
logic. There's no logic.
No logic. And Ray Allen, I don't have a problem with the model. I have a problem with how the model is being executed.
I'm exactly the same. Like I said this.
They could have done this model, but in a different way. Totally different way. They could have done it.
I said on Lewis's stream earlier, like so many of the ideas they've had, I've loved. The multi-club model, I love. The idea of building multiple clubs, like using one club to help build other clubs to dominate multiple leagues, I love. I love the idea of this scouting the world idea. I love that. I love the idea of like trying to find these like diamonds in the rough, not having to spend 100 mil on every player, going and finding the real quality in certain areas. I love that. They've taken every good idea and bastardized it. Every good idea and bastardized it to hell. The multi-club model's fucked because we've got 2 teams. You're barely strengthening both of them. Like every signing we seem to be making is for Strasbourg, none for Chelsea. The one Chelsea signing we've made is a fucking Strasbourg player who we've loaned back, and then some random Kazakhstan youth. Like
16.
And the whole the scout the world thing. There's the only thing so far, but we're just yet to see the benefits of. Like we're yet to really delve into that. Everything else, even the like diamonds in the rough thing, they're bastardizing because they've gone way too far with it. They took something that was good and took it to the extreme and fucked it. Yeah,
because look at it this way, right? When Liverpool was building that team with Mane, Firmino, and Salah, they didn't spend 100 M's on them, on each. But after a while, each of them you could say is worth minimum 80 mil, right? But the value they spent on it, I think it was like 40 something for Salah, 30 something for Firmino, and 50 something for Mane because he came from Southampton. They're literally doing what we did, but your talent ID is better than the scouts we have now. Because there's no way you can tell me you couldn't get a Salah type player out there. And I don't mean in terms of attribute, I mean in terms of potential of what he could become. Get what I'm saying? So there's you could have done the exact same thing, but buy better players.
But here's the thing. I'm
not
really
the devil's
tired of.
advocate, I swear to
I was
God.
going to say I'm not in the mood.
I'm really tired of. I'm really tired of doing this different perspective thing.
I swear to God,
but I think I speak for everyone that
depends what you're saying.
Two things are incredibly frustrating this window. One, it's the links to Garnacho, right? Which we'll talk about next. Of all links. And 2, it's the fact that it doesn't seem that we're doing anything of substance or significance to fix the midfield issue.
No, it's more than that. I'll be honest.
Honestly, here's the thing with me is cool. You wanna do all your talent ID stuff or whatever. My biggest issue at this current point is you're not focusing on what our problems are, right? Mm-hmm. You, Don, Robert, and everyone can say, "Oh, we're not playing well because we don't have a backup left winger. No, we're not playing well because we don't have a solid defense. No, we're not playing well because we don't have coverage for Enzo and Caicedo. So in the second half of games, they can't play how they played in the first half because there's a clear drop off because due to fatigue and whatnot, right?" Mm-hmm. If, let's say, they addressed all these issues and they were going for Garnacho, while I don't rate the player, while I don't like the player, while I don't want this player at my club, I wouldn't have a bigger problem as I have now with that because they addressed the key issues. So, we still have a glaring striker problem. That's been a problem before you took over the club.
Before you go. So let's actually do a 2-for-1. I'm going to transition into the next topic, which is the one that everyone keeps bringing up. Let's just get it out there. And then I want to read this super chat from David. Thank you so much, David, for the super chat. So let's get this going. Let me start off with the first tweet we have here. And yes, ladies and gents, we are going to get into this whole Garnacho situation. So start off with tweet from earlier in the week. Chelsea started making inquiries for wingers since December after what happened to Mykhailo Mudryk. for Jamie Gittins and Alejandro Garnacho. Gittins, which we'll discuss after this topic, I'm sure. Chelsea could look at a late move for Karim Adeyemi on loan if nothing else comes off. This is from last week. And now we're seeing this week things are ramping up for Garnacho. So, again, a lot of tweets, a lot of hoo-ha and just fluff. Chelsea see Garnacho's talent and potential. Some Chelsea staff members really like the idea of Garnacho joining. However, Chelsea remains to be seen whether Chelsea will pay what United want. Chelsea made direct contact with Man United to ask for Garnacho's conditions. Chelsea are deciding whether to place a bid for United winger Garnacho. Man United are insisting 70 million euros for Alejandro Garnacho, because up until today everything was just they're insisting, we're inquiring, we're asking about, Chelsea are really interested in, Chelsea are curious about, Chelsea have sexual interest in, like all types of things except for actually making a goddamn bid.
Sorry, Marshall, man. Sorry, Marshall, man. Again, there's a lot of guys today that want to be on their knees first, but like, hey, we'll keep pushing.
We continue. I'm sorry. There's a lot of pent up anger here. Chelsea are expected to bid for Garnacho in the next few days, according to Gaston Doul. Chelsea. Garnacho prefers to stay in the Premier League. Chelsea want him, but no offer yet. Napoli have offered 45 million euros, according to Gaston Doul. This was as of 2 days ago. What exactly is this guy's credibility? Because he's been used a lot in terms of as a credible source.
No, I've never heard of him.
No source, man. Nobody's in Hillenberg. Lock him up, bro.
No, a lot of people have been using him, including yourself, Ahmed. That's why
I only use him. Well, basically, the reason listen, the reason I thought to use him initially. Wait, no, that's fair. So no, because like I actually thought he was reliable, but then I think it was Joey, Joey Wabbs, right? He told me that this guy's a bit bandulu, so like that's why I don't really necessarily trust him per se.
Yeah,
that's why.
We continue on then. Garnacho, concrete possibility. Chelsea are really considering making a bid. Value of £60 million. Chelsea could make a bid in the next few days or hours. Let's see. And then I think this is from today. There you go. Chelsea are set to approach Man United for Alejandro Garnacho as expected. Napoli remain keen, but not agreement at 50 million euros package rejected by Man United. Now also working on Adeyemi deal as revealed. Chelsea spoke with players camp and will now discuss with Man United. So it took a whole week from going to talks, interest, and this for us to now set to approach. And apparently we did put a fee down. We did put a bid down. We'll get to that. Manchester United insist on a £60 million fee to sell Garnacho. Chelsea are coming with a formal approach, according to Fabrizio. Then we have here from Mail Sport. Chelsea recognized an offer around £60 million, including add-ons for Alejandro Garnacho, could get the deal done. His representatives had not been asking for huge wages from Manchester United, so his desired terms will fall in line with Chelsea's pay structure. And then this also relates to the whole situation is that Adeyemi. So Napoli have made contact with Borussia Dortmund today for Karim Adeyemi. Talks start with Borussia Dortmund open to January exit. Negotiations for Alejandro Garnacho are still on, but no agreement with Manchester United after first bid. Chelsea are also weighing up for a proposal and understand direct contacts today between Napoli and Karim Adeyemi have been positive. Nothing sealed, agreed yet as contacts continue, while Napoli work on a 45 to 50 million euros package deal with Borussia Dortmund. BVB are prepared to let him leave. It will be up to the players. So we've prepared a bid for Garnacho. I'm sure the bid has been sent. I don't know what the bid is. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I just haven't found it.
He's gonna find out tomorrow, probably. I
just want to say something because I don't know.
Oh, one more thing. I'm so sorry, Surfer. One more thing. David, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. And this can lead into the discussion. You can't blame the directors. They are operating on what Igbali wants. You just have to understand now that we are hoping to win, not actively trying to win.
No, here's the thing. You can blame them. Even if Igbali wants this, you can do it a better way.
Yep.
Yeah, but thank you, Surfer. That's what I was about to say. Igbali is not going into the office and telling them exactly who to.
Yes, exactly.
He gave you a general or generic profile. Young, talented, up and coming, and we must show potential where we can get a book value.
Yeah. And also
I could give you Musiala, Rodrigo, and them people.
Yeah,
Mm.
you
It's
name
still-
several
well,
players.
Yeah.
Johan Bakayoko, you could name him. Just off the
Yes.
top of my
You know
head.
what? I want to actually get back to your point because, like, I was obviously gonna interrupt you much before you gave the Garnacho stuff.
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
Javon made a good point about like, oh, we still need this. I feel like we still need a spine, bro. Like the spine is not even. We're still talking about our spine, and it's been essentially like 2 years, bro. We're still talking about a goalkeeper. We're still talking about a defender. We're still talking about a striker. Yeah, midfield we may need some cover, but like still the 3 other main spine positions, bro. We're still speaking about.
No, here's the thing.
Yeah,
here's the
bro.
thing. Here's the thing, right? And this is where when injuries have hit us, I think we were starting to see that in terms of who was being picked before the injuries, right? Now, Fofana's injury prone, but we also got to remember it's not a knee injury while he's out; it's a hamstring injury, right? Remember, he started of the 13 games he could have been involved with. He started 12 of them, right, and only missed the 13th one because he was suspended against Liverpool, right? So he was actually having a very good run before he got in. It was him, Colwell, Cucurella, Caicedo, possibly put Enzo in there, Palmer, and Jackson, right? That was a spine. That was it. That was we went on a run. That's why we had most of those players. You know what I mean? In the run, that's what was happening. It was the rest of the squad who comes up after that, right? So centre backs, no one really favoured him. It was Disasi, Badiashile, and Tosin, right? The midfield after Enzo, or it's Lavia, but we can't trust his fitness. After that, it's we don't know. Do you know what I mean? And then striker, it's Jackson. We try and bring Kuku up there, it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the top level of the spine was actually looking pretty good. It's the reinforcement underneath it.
So
that spine intact.
Can I add to that and rebuttal that?
Sure.
All right, so I understand where you're coming from with the whole. Let me address the top of the spine thing first, right? I agree with you to a certain extent because let me start from the top of the spine, which is Jackson. The top of the spine, which is Jackson. Jackson was doing well, but the underlying thing with Jackson is we were all waiting to see if this could have been continued past that 9-goal scoring run, right? Mm-hmm. And it's I think we all expected that there was going to be some form of a dip, but it was how he played during that dip and how long that dip lasted. So there was still a question mark about the top of the spine. And now I think we have more of a definitive answer that it's going to take a bit more time before Jackson can be the leader at the top of that spine long term. So we still need a striker there. Down to the back of the spine. Going to deal with bottom around here. Down to the back of the spine, which is in defense. You cannot use Fofana as a mainstay in the spine simply because of how injury prone he is. So I can get it. He's your starter, but he shouldn't be. The spine shouldn't be based around him. And Levi Cole is still a developmental center back. So I could argue that the defensive spine was still needed because even when we were winning games, we're still susceptible at the back. We still look shaky at the back. So right then and there, the back really didn't have a spine. The only part of the spine that I'm fully okay with is in the midfield, and I don't think we would have the issues in the midfield if Maresca utilized the entirety of his squad now. And even then, when you talk about the underline of the midfield, Lavia, let's say Lavia was fully fit, we would still need coverage for Enzo, and our coverage for Enzo is playing in Strasbourg right now. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So. When it comes on to the backup of the spine, I'm not going to rebuttal that at all because I fully agree. I fully agree with that.
I think
I would still need a keeper.
No, that's the most. That's the top 2 points. The top most important points of the spine are the striker and goalkeeper. We certainly can do so much better in the goalkeeper thing. It's not even a discussion. The striker thing was, you're right. You didn't know Jackson, but we don't have anyone to replace him, so he has to play. Yeah. Or he's not, and Mark Gooey's not gonna get it. What I was saying is that what we both agree on is that we didn't support the spines unsupported. You know what I mean? In terms of like, there's nothing there in terms of quality or the numbers there. In case of Lavia, it's nothing to do with his quality. It's he can't stay fit.
Yeah, you know, and he's not supposed to be a backup. If your backup is injury prone, what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point?
But then we go to the Garnacho thing, right? So I don't know how long I've got left here. So this fails on every single metric, this transfer. This fails on reason. It fails on logic. It fails on data-driven. It fails on stats. It fails on eye test. It fails on talent ID. It fails on needing a goal-scoring player.
A necessity.
It fails on everything. There is no logic to this whatsoever, right? You're telling me we're going to spend up to 59, 60 million pounds for this guy? To be a backup? To be a backup, we're spending 60 million pounds on a backup.
You know what I hate?
Hang on, let me just run this. I don't. This doesn't make any sense. No Chelsea. There's no Chelsea fan. If any Chelsea fan is supporting this, they're severely trolling, or they have brain damage, because there's nothing on here. What is it that people? What is it they said? One of your things said, and this is this word has infested and infected football. Potential. This for 60 million pounds. This is not potential. Last season or in last summer, I said it on Lewis's stream. The other guys may have heard this. I was surprised when we were linked to Oscar Bob, right? But you can see the potential in Oscar Bob already, even with his few minutes, right? There is nothing that this guy has done. This guy's whole reputation is built on an overhead kick against Everton. That's what it is, yeah? He doesn't offer anything. He doesn't improve us at all. He doesn't add to our goals, doesn't add to our chances. There's going to be a stat that says he takes the most shot on goals or takes the lowest shots. How many of those are on target? First of all, how many of those make the goalkeeper work? Because rubbish shots that trickle through to the goalkeeper count as a shot on target in stats these days. There's no metric. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's nothing here. This is. I can't. I think I've been supporting Chelsea because I'm older than you guys. A bit more. This ownership, Roman's ownership, pre-Roman ownership. I cannot remember a transfer like this where I think 99.9% of this fan base, or maybe 98% of this fan base, is wholly against or cannot see a reason. Normally, even if there's a mixture of someone coming in, right, you can always, there's one or two tangibles or attributes that you go, I can see why they're going for them, right? There's nothing. There's no consistent attribute that he has. There's nothing. And the problem I have as well is that these guys, if we sign him, these guys won't be asked why properly. This will all fall on Maresca, and I feel so sorry for him. I feel so sorry for Maresca that he's going to be one that's going to have to literally be a firefighter for this. There's nothing that anyone can say that will logically tell me why we're doing this. There's nothing. I know the potential. I don't know what they see. What data are they looking at? Because it's flawed. It's absolutely flawed. I can understand why we're linked to Liam Delap. I can see his attributes and potential and stuff like that, right? I can see it. I can see he's got something, right? Like I said, Oscar Bob when we linked in the summer, no problem. I see it. Tyler Dibbling at Southampton, I can see it. John Duran now. Armour's going to like this after last night. I can see why people want Barcola after last night. Okay, I can see it, right? I can see Samu. Now I can see what Samu does. Do you know what I mean? At Porto, I can see it. I did the Mason Mount Havertz test. Name me 3 things on the ball attributes. No one could do it that much, right? Just name me the one consistent, outstanding attribute Garnacho has. You won't be able to name one. There's nothing.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quick? You made some brilliant points there, right? The first point is I'm gonna tackle the potential, and I want to ask the panel this: should potential be a book value of a book value above $35 million? Because I do not. I think so. $60 million is guaranteed product. Maybe not to a high level extent, but it's guaranteed product. It's for me a winger, $60 million. I'm expecting what Neto give to Wolves. Now, what Neto's not for us, but what he gave to Wolves: high in assist, 1v1 consistent 1v1 ability, and you know that there's a player there once you have matching pieces with him, right?
Javon, just real quick to add to your point, 60 million pounds or euros, whatever, for a player who had 7 goals and 4 assists in the Premier League last season. So
Javon, let me ask you a question, and it's very simple. How much did we pay for Madueke?
I think 30, 35.
It's 29 million.
How much?
Oh, 29 million.
Okay. How much are we potentially going to pay for Jadon Sancho?
25.
Are people really going to expect me to believe that we're going to pay the same amount or just a little bit more for Garnacho? That he's worth more than these two players combined?
Yeah.
Is someone going to really are they going to try and sell me that?
You know how crazy that sounds, Surfer, bro?
It's
we
ridiculous.
brought Sancho
It doesn't sound
for
believable. That's why I'm in
25.
denial.
We literally brought Sancho for 25 M's, but apparently we're preparing a bid with add-ons to allegedly reach the 60 million mark.
2.5 times, nearly 2.5 times more.
I want to let Javon finish his statement, right? But like, to add on to that, that's why I'm in such denial that this is actually happening, because I know the reliables are the ones coming out with the news, right? The Fabrizios, and you have the
even the
Weinsteins and stuff.
Even the Uniteds are now coming. The United guys are coming out now.
Like, I truly do want to believe that this is just being used for Napoli to negotiate, but the more and more it's getting closer to the end of the window, the more real it seems, and it doesn't make sense on any basis based on what just Surfer and you just said. It doesn't make sense. How are we going to pay this amount for Jadon Sancho, who is a lot more talented than this player, has shown more than this player in his career, and now we're sitting here talking about potentially 60 million for a player who got 7 goals and 4 assists last season in the Prem?
And I'll ask a question, guys. Javon, you can answer this question for me too, bro. I don't know if you've seen like what Garnacho's data is, because I haven't been able to. Been a little bit busy myself personally, my own personal life. Yeah, what are they seeing in there? Because I would assume his data set is probably terrible, considering like the way he plays in general. Like this is me looking at him from just on the eye test, let alone whatever they're looking at him from a data standpoint. Because it wouldn't make sense to me. Because like the last time I checked his data was last season, and it was not looking good. So I don't know what they see this season, bro. This season's been worse.
So we were looking at it.
Javon.
Sorry.
I wasn't finished with my second part of what I was saying, but I want to keep these conversations streamlined because they're really interesting. So let me answer what Ahmed said, because my second half can wait because it ties into everything, right? So let me answer your question first by saying this: based on what I've seen thus far, data and the eye test doesn't always match up, because the eye test can tell you one thing and the eye test is above all else, but the data might say, you know what, he took on his man X amount of time and he was successful one. But what the data doesn't tell you is what does he do after he beats his man. You kind of get what I'm saying?
I know what you mean, but that's what I was asking you, because like from eye test standpoint, he doesn't look great. So what are they seeing the data? That's what I was asking. Yeah,
and let me answer that. I value Garnacho as one of them NPC people. He doesn't catch my eye enough for me to want to get into to see what he brings.
I know what you mean, bro. Yeah.
So I cannot answer that question. I can only answer from an eye test perspective, and the eye test says
me too. Yeah.
All he does is running, and the one attribute that I can give him, he's relentless and he doesn't give up. That's the only thing I can give him.
So basically, we brought Mason Mount back.
Yeah,
he's a runner. He's a track star. That's what
this is what I was showing. It says total shots. He's 90 percentile, and his ball carries is 92, and his touches in the penalty box is 90.
But the thing is, though, even with the running, though, I remember when we played United at Old Trafford. He stopped tracking back, and Casemiro had to make a foul. And he started screaming at him. So even that's an inconsistent point on his work rate.
So, first of all, before we continue, and obviously, Scott, I want to hear what you have to say. Almost 100 of you guys are here watching, but there's only 42 likes.
Come on.
Do me a favor, guys, because I'll be quite honest with you. I really don't want to sit here and talk about Garnacho. I just want to wake up tomorrow and it be February 3rd. We recalled Lesley Ugochukwu or Andre Santos, and Enzo is back, Lavia's back, even fuck it, Wesley Fofana's back. Like our team is fine and dandy. Thomas Tuchel is back for Ahmed. Like everything is, we're back in Champions League. That's what I want to wake up to. So because I have to stay awake and deal with all this, I would really, really appreciate if you guys smash up the like, because it would help me out tremendously with my sanity. One thing I will say, and on the Garnacho thing before Scott goes, as far as my dislikes of Garnacho, I dislike what I've seen in terms of the eye test, right? In terms of he's not clinical in front of goal. He is not clinical in front of goal. That is the number one thing, right?
Yep.
I am weary that there is a Man United text, a very heavy Man United text that affects pretty much everyone but Mainu and Diallo in that team. I understand that. However, not even take off the pitch, right? Take whatever you see on the pitch out of the equation. His attitude is not a good one. And this is another thing that doesn't make sense. If you didn't want to go for Jonathan Duran because there was an attitude issue, it makes zero sense to me why you would want to go for Garnacho, especially when the fan base here at Chelsea, we know, are brutal. Our players have said they prefer playing away games than the home ones because of how brutal the fans were. And that's coming from Moises Caicedo, who is one of our vice captains right now. You're telling me that you're telling me right now that this player is going to come into this team and he's going to handle that well? Hell no. You are smoking. And his brother on top of it. There is absolutely no way that this guy is going to handle how brutal this fan base is going to be to him. They don't like him now. Imagine when he's playing. Every time he misses a pass or gives a ball away, the boos. Like,
this guy could even handle fans telling him that he needs to improve his first touch.
It's going to get so toxic so quick at Garnacho. So all stars are telling me, all signs are telling me, there's no way this is possible. There's no way you're actually considering this. And if you do consider this, I'm sorry. I'm going to be one of the first ones to say it on here. I'm probably most likely already done with the fucking directors at that point. And I've given directors a lot of slack, and you guys can all attest for that.
Yeah.
Let me, Scott, can you go before I make my second point? Because the second point is more where I think people is going to have where I think people's going to give a lot of comments on.
The fact that this club is looking at Garnacho is a fucking disgrace. Word to Didier Drogba. It's a fucking disgrace. There is, Andrew said it earlier on Lewis's channel. He's probably said it while I was gone. I don't know. There's not a single redeemable thing about Garnacho as a player. There's not a single thing. Defensively, he sucks. His attitude sucks. He's not a good shot taker. Go and look at the Rangers game, by the way. I watched 15 minutes in the first half. Garnacho smashed. Garnacho got put a chance in the middle of the, just on the edge of the 18-yard box, put it into Rose Ed. Did nothing for the rest of the 15 minutes that I watched. Cool. Mm-hmm. He offers nothing going forward. He doesn't create anything. He's a selfish player. He runs with his head down. He can't dribble. There's nothing good about him. There's nothing good. Look at what we're looking at in front of us on the screen. Defensively, he sucks as well, which is a big thing for Maresca, by the way. So he sucks defensively, doesn't fit the system. He is shit. If you want Garnacho at this football club, you're an enemy of progress. You're not a Chelsea fan. I'll straight up tell you that to your face. You are an enemy of progress. If we sign Garnacho, it's the single worst signing we've ever made. Worse than Lukaku. Because at least with Lukaku, you could make sense of it. He sucked. He was shit. You could make sense of it. You could make sense with other signings we've done. Even if they turned out shit, you could make sense. There's nothing about this that makes sense. He has 7 goals in 36 games as his best ever goal scoring record. He has 13 in 80. Madueke has more in 70 games than he does.
Scott, that's better than Mudryk.
If Mudryk's the best...
No, actually, I looked in the Premier League. Mudryk has better stats. Mudryk has better stats.
Okay, cool. Madueke, who everyone hates... Madueke has 1 less goal this season than Garnacho does as his best ever goal scoring record in 16 less games.
And we want to improve on Madueke.
Mudryk and Garnacho going finesse shot for finesse shot.
He is shit. He is awful. I'm trying to wrap my head around this. And if it's bad enough, they want to sign him. If we pay 60 million British pounds for this guy, it's probably been mentioned how much.
That's a big part of it for me too, to be honest.
Kvaratskhelia was the same price. Kvaratskhelia was the same.
And that guy guarantees you something. He guarantees you something.
But I wouldn't even mind if the report says we're spending 51 million on Liam Delap. I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind if Garnacho. What?
You know what makes it worse, guys? We're helping out United. United and PSR risk. We're helping our own opposition by buying this team. What are we doing?
And then Ahmed, do you know what the funniest thing is going to be in the summer? Chelsea need to sell before they buy after wasting 60 fucking million on this fucking prick.
No.
By the way, I'm so glad you took his face off. When I had to watch his face, his face pisses me off. By the way, his face actively irritates me.
That's bullshit. The sell to buy is bullshit with this transfer. I'll tell you right now, the sell to buy is bullshit because you don't need to sell to buy if you're spending 60 million on Garnacho. Why do you need to sell to buy? You're 60 million spent for Garnacho. What do you need to sell? You haven't sold anyone. Selling Cassidy and loaning out Veiga. That's all you're doing. Absolutely.
Do you know how long it's taken us to sell Cassidy, by the way?
That excuse is absolute.
Because Ahmed, you know why? Because we were haggling over 1.6 million, and we managed to get. And then we've managed to get the 1.6 million, so we're selling for 12 million euros, which is for we literally don't make anything.
It's another thing. It's another thing with the. There's another thing why the sell to buy thing doesn't work. You get in the Champions League, you get more money. Club World Cup, we're just getting 60 million just for entering it. That counts for this year's financial. So the sell to buy thing is horseshit. Absolute horseshit.
This complete fucking star. I don't have words.
So can I make my second point now? Everybody's okay with that.
No interruptions, guys. Let them go.
Okay, so my second point has to kind of challenge what Andrew said in regards to I feel sorry for Maresca. And this is just an alternate way of thinking. You know why I don't feel sorry for Maresca? If he was utilizing the entire squad properly, there is no way in the forward positions. I'm strictly focusing on the forward and the midfield positions. There's no way this club would have the need to go for Garnacho in the first place. Because if, let's say, he said, you know what, I need to get Felix in this team some way. Let me stick him out on the left. Let me make something work. No, the reason why we're going for Garnacho, it's deemed that we need another left winger. So, in my opinion, if the squad was fully utilized, we wouldn't be in this position at all. It would be more so focused or pinned on the directors. Hey, the people you have given me, I can somehow jig the system to fit people to cover a Sancho. Let's say Sancho is the only left winger and we need a backup for that. I can rig the system to put Felix there to get something out of Felix, more consistent minutes. But what I can't rig the system for a better striker and a better defense. So that's why I'm saying, Maresca, you see, if you had cut off the option to say, hey, I just don't want to use these guys because I don't like these guys. If you had actually used these guys or put them in a position where we can say to the club, okay, you give me this, I'm trying to work with it. But two things I cannot work without is a better striker and a better defender. We wouldn't be in this position at all.
I can't.
I would happily like to think though, even if Maresca haven't used the squad utilised as much as he could have, even he probably wouldn't have had Garnacho at the top of his list for any incoming replacement.
I do agree with what Javon said. The other person I want to blame, and I saw Alexis tweet about this earlier, or I think it was earlier or yesterday, and I agree. Some of the blame for this has to go on Mudryk. You're a grown-ass man and you don't know what you're putting in your body.
Mudryk, yeah.
You're a grown-ass man. You don't know what shit you're
Hold on, real quick. I am not blaming the manager. I'm saying, if you, I am not blaming the manager. I'm simply saying, if you had fully utilized your squad, let me put it this way. Not utilizing your squad is one of the cause and effects of that. Another cause and effects is seeing the people that broke down in midfield. That's another cause and effect for not fully utilizing your squad and you're supposed to. Yeah. So this is just another consequence of it, is what I'm trying to say.
It's also, I just don't know why. You talk about potential, okay, it's early days for this guy. Are you telling me Tariq George's got no potential? Is that what the squad
Tariq George has more potential than Garnacho?
That's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, we're linked to buying Garnacho for the left wing. We can play Tariq George on the left wing.
Yeah.
Like, he's got no potential. Is that what we're saying?
Thank you, Winter, because you could still say thank you, Winter, because you could still say this, right? You blame Mudryk. You blame. Let's say we don't you don't rate Felix. You still blame Mudryk for what he's done. You have Tyreek George that you've been trying to bring into the first team. If you give him more minutes, there's still no need for Garnacho.
Yeah.
Because you got the replacement right there.
It just shows that he doesn't believe in them then.
Yeah, but
and that's my problem with Maresca.
Yeah,
it is, and then it's compounded by the morons we have upstairs because they've decided the answer is some fucking useless Argentinian kid who has done nothing in his career and will continue to do nothing because he's shit. I just want to go back to a point I was going to make earlier, but it was a wrong topic.
Who's that winger for Leicester, the French one?
Oh, Mavididi, he's better than him.
That's what I'm talking about. Why do you go for Mavididi? Why do you go for Semenyo?
Even El Salus, bro, I forget his name from Leicester. Quality.
He's a number 10 to be fair, but yeah, like Mavididi's better than him. Fatawi, if he's injured, he's better than him. Dibling's better than him.
Are these guys telling me they want to spend 50 million, but Semenyo?
Who's that dude?
More potential than Semenyo.
What's his name? Suleimana, the guy that destroyed United the other night for Southampton. I'd take him over Garnacho. He's like 20 mil. I just want to go back to a point I made earlier as well.
They said they want 50 million for Semenyo. Go get him.
This data-driven bullshit we're doing, by the way, there's nothing data-driven about what we're doing. There's not a stat in world football you can find that tells me Garnacho. There's not a stat you can find in world football that tells me Garnacho is a good player. Not a fucking stat.
Not one.
Like, there's nothing data-driven. You want to see proper data-driven analysis and data-driven signings, go and look at what Brentford do and what Brighton do. That's
even
data-driven.
Nottingham Forest, bro. Even Nottingham Forest.
This isn't data-driven. This is random scattergun stupid shit that we're doing. Because this, what I don't understand, we've spoken about this before, and this is a wider point with these sporting directors again. How are you, we've been looking at left wingers this window. Who have we been linked with? Bino Gittins, we've been linked with Tell, we've been linked with Adeyemi and Garnacho. Can someone tell me what the fuck the four of them have in common? Can someone tell me what the fuck? Bro, one of those is a getting behind winger who likes to play in a counter-attacking team. One is in his breakout year as a player. One is, we don't know if he's a winger or a striker. And the fourth one's shit. Someone tell me what the fuck they have in common.
You know what I can't wait for, guys? You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for when the team news starts getting leaked again 2 hours before the game.
That's another thing with this piece.
Can't wait, mate. Can't wait, lads. Can't wait, man.
Oh, give me strength, God Christ.
Just back to scouting. Just back to scouting and potential or good players. Why aren't we going for Baena at Villarreal? They play him on the left.
Do you know what Marshall, you said it's an opportunity. Kvaratskhelia was the biggest opportunity in the market.
I really wanted that player.
Perfect.
So you can't even say
perfect age.
Yeah. So you couldn't even say it's an opportunistic signing because this man was at $30 million a year. You give him about 120 to come to a Premier League club that's competing for top 4, that could potentially do it in the Champions League, that has Champions League pedigree, that would come right into the starting level spot because you could always push Sancho to the right side if needed. That still has the quality to dribble, crosses, and scores goals. And still wouldn't cost you 60 fucking million. Even then, this is the last point. And then even then, let's say you did all of that, right? And you got in Kvaratskhelia. If you wanted to go back in for Oshimhen, in the summer market, it would make sense because they have a chemistry already. Bro, I'm done.
Deary me, man.
Why I don't think we're actually signing Garnacho is because, hasn't Chelsea already signed their potential wingers, like Esteval and the Colombian kid, right?
Chris, every player we sign is potential. We just signed.
Yeah, I know. That's what we are potential.
Wait, let me actually hear what Chris has to say.
No, because we've been obviously signing these players from a season ago. They're 17 years old, 18 years old, and they're planning to come next season, right? So this is why it doesn't make any sense why Chelsea even looked at Garnacho. Why I don't think they will get Garnacho. 60 million, and when you got these players for 29 million, and what was the Colombian guy's price? Was it 60 million?
Duran.
No,
was 45. We were haggling about 5 million.
I thought he's Colombian. The other youngster winger who
He's Ecuadorian. It's Piaz. He's Ecuadorian.
Oh, Ecuadorian. My bad. Yeah.
Piaz.
Yeah, Piaz. Yeah. We signed those two wingers who are potential and supposed to be into our lineup, bench or whatever next season. And Garnacho here to do what? He's there to be backup to them. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Building off of what everyone's been saying, going off of what we're seeing, right? I'm still in denial. not as much as I was earlier, like before today. I'm still very
Monday
much in
stream.
denial because, well, yeah, we'll see. I might crash out then. But
No, remember
like,
on Monday when me and you were talking about
the
Garnacho.
depression is hitting different today. I'm not gonna lie to you, but like again, this is the update. Chelsea are
Yes, guys.
prepared to
God, he has a
bid
bony face,
for
yeah.
Garnacho after initial approach made today. So there's still no bid for a week now. For a week and a half, all of we've been hearing is we're interested. We're gonna bid. We're gonna do this. Here's
it's very telling. He's been very silent on this. David Ornstein's been very silent on this.
Yeah.
I mean, anything from David Ornstein on this. Not even like preparing a bid, something like this. Very, very silent. Do you know what I mean? I know he
was-
likes to. I know
he's
he
the
likes
one
to
that broke
play
out
it
that we
safely.
inquired about him, right?
Yeah. No, but I don't even think I can't remember. But in the last couple
Yeah,
of
I'll
days,
look
it's
it
been nothing today. Definitely. Like Fab's been the one that's been pushing this.
Yeah, Fav's
Mostly.
been a big advocate on this one.
But nothing from David. There's not been a bomber from David Ornstein about this. I can't remember the last time he tweeted about this, or if he has.
Yeah, he's the one that tweeted about our interest in him and buying again, so I'm not
Look.
mistaken, no? That was the last time he tweeted, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
was
he
about-
mentioned Gittins. I think he mentioned wingers and had three of them on there, didn't he? Like Gittins,
Yeah, it was
Garnacho, and someone else.
Here it is. Yeah, Chelsea make
Yeah, that's the
inquiries
last-
on
that was-
Alejandro
that was
Garnacho, Jimmy
17.
Gittins. Wingers among multiple options
that
of
was
interest for potential.
Right. That was the 17th. That was 17th,
Yeah.
right? 17th. So we're talking nearly
Yeah.
a week ago.
Yeah.
And nothing since then. I mean, I don't. You know.
That's
I don't
why,
know
like,
if
part
this
of me is still in denial that, like, this must be like negotiating tactics because you guys said it. You guys said it, right? Kvaratskhelia. We've been interested in Kvaratskhelia since last summer. There was always an interest there, but the price was always. No, but there was always links. There was always links between us and Kvara and Oshimhen. And this window where there was actually an opportunity to sign him for a similar, if not the same fee as Garnacho, for a player that is proven, who a player you can get that works under your salary,
Your wage bill.
wage structure. Thank you. And you don't make a bid, you don't make a single move. It went undisputed. Like that was the report, right? That he went to PSG, no one competed.
Nope.
That makes no sense to me. But yet you're going for Garnacho?
Do you know what? You know what I'm gonna say? I would have agreed with you, Marshall, to be honest, yeah, about all the stuff. But then when I'm starting to hear the United guys, or the main United guys, start talking about this happening now, because like I saw Laurie Hall, and I forget who's the other guy that they have. His name escapes me right now. They have like another famous guy that's not of the Athletic that's like a tier 0 for them essentially. Whose name escapes me. Like reporting on that Chelsea are essentially doing this. That for me. But when there's too much noise, you can't ignore it, bro. Sometimes.
Yeah, but they're just saying the same things that Fab is. They're just like preparing a bid or interested.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not
Preparing
like-
a bid, interested, inquiring,
They're just
ready
like
for a bid,
jumping on the bandwagon.
dick in their hand for
They're
a
not
bid.
coming
Like
out.
it's
The
all
only
the
thing
same
I can
fucking
see is-
bullshit.
Whoa, what?
Wow, wait,
You heard
chill out,
me.
boys.
Sorry, the only thing I can see is that think piece that came out today about Matisse Tell, how we still want to pursue him. It's just on him changing his mind. And I think, as Surfer was saying, I think Bayern are trying their best to actually push him out.
Yeah,
They haven't
because
played him.
his man
He didn't
is
play
playing-
again today.
He didn't play 2 games, 2 match days, and he didn't get a single minute.
single minute.
So his man is
So I
being
think-
changed.
I think
Because
we're
Bayern
waiting
won
on him.
in Kunku. Bayern
Yeah, I
really
think we're
won it.
waiting on Tell. Like we're waiting on that. I think like this weekend, if he doesn't play, and we don't get Garnacho by this weekend, then I think there'll be strong links for the last push.
But here's the thing: I don't want Tell either.
I just think for me, with
Tell
Tell,
he's the
Go ahead,
one I
sir.
take above all else, above all the
Yeah.
others. But I agree. I think we should be looking for someone different. But he of the 4 we've been linked with, he's my number 1.
But you know what?
Can I offer a different solution real quick, guys? Can I offer a different solution? Because, like, okay, on one hand, too, part of the reason that, like, I wasn't losing my mind up until these Garnacho things, which one reason I'm even losing my mind is because the Chelsea fan base, the complete hysteria over this transfer window, it's making it so much less fun. Like, I don't, like, this is, in terms of reactions, this has been the worst transfer window. Like everyone is just losing their heads over every little bit. some more understandable than others. But in terms of like the window itself, I wasn't expecting a 2022 window where we were going to make a lot of signings. We're going to sign, we're going to bring in Oshimhen. We're going to bring in an attacking winger. We're going to bring in a proper like center midfielder, so on and so forth, like all types of things, right? I understand that. But one of the solutions too that you could bring to the table is if you were to bring in a striker, some of us have actually advocated for Jackson to play on the left wing, which he can do.
Not in this system.
No. It's not even that in this system. Not because a player. We've seen this at our clubs multiple times, from Tuchel to Lampard to whoever comes to the door. And I'm going to tell this again. Not because a player can play multiple position doesn't mean you need to put him there. The reason why we've been advocating for Jackson to be to have a second striker beside him, whether that's eclipsing or compete with him, is because we need two persons for that position. Not because, okay, we got a striker that's playing out of his skin. That doesn't mean you should play Jackson in the same 11. Because what happens if he gets injured? We go back to the same scenario with just having one striker. It's the same thing that when you remember before Reece James got injured, we had Reece James and Gusto both right backs playing at the same time, and everyone was losing their head about it because it didn't make any sense because both of them were injury prone. It's the same thing. So I want Jackson to be an out and out striker. Mm-hmm. And another thing as well, right, regarding this whole transfer window thing. If the club are going to go for a profile, let's say we do get Garnacho through the door, what does that solve for us right now? That's the bigger question.
Literally nothing.
Just the backup left winger, because again, it goes back to like, it doesn't make sense. Why are we paying 60 mil for a backup? It just doesn't make sense to me.
Because why not? By the way, I just want to crash on these directors again very quickly. We've spoken about in the past, we've spoken about that if the Garnacho thing is another damning indictment of if it's not Manchester City Academy, or it's not if it's not Manchester City Academy with Joe Shields, it's an L. Like it's more than likely an L. Like you can count probably on one hand the guys we haven't got from the Manchester City Academy that have been positives for this football club, like guaranteed positives.
Yeah, but those are, apart from Gusto, those are the obvious signings you needed. The Enzo and the Caicedo, and that's it.
No, Enzo Caicedo and Jackson, I'd say. Outside of that,
Nani.
I would not say he's been a guaranteed success. And I like Nani; he's not been a guaranteed success.
No.
Even Gusto hasn't been a guaranteed success we've seen this season.
Mm-hmm.
As good as he was last season.
Wait, what about? Did you say Sancho?
Sancho's
time will tell with him, but he's also
I think right for the price we're going for. I think
but Chris, he has a former City Academy. That's what I'm saying. If it's not
former City Academy,
if it's not former City Academy, which is all Joe Shields, let's be completely honest here. If it's not former City Academy, more often than not, these guys shit the bed. And this Garnacho thing is another example of that.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. And also remember that Enzo and Caicedo deals, they
fucked up.
They fucked up. Yeah,
they overpaid.
The negotiations.
No, not even that. No, they nearly fucked the deals up. They nearly fucked the deals up altogether. We nearly didn't get them if it wasn't for Barley and Bowley.
And Jackson was a buyout clause. Everyone forgets that. It was a buyout. Yeah, I'm sure it was a buyout clause. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a buyout clause was like 35 million euros or something like that. Double check that.
You're right. As a buyout.
Yeah.
No. You're right because Jackson wasn't expensive. He was $35 million. And that's why I can have patience for him, because no striker that you sign for $35 million, you expect to come in and score goals week in, week out.
Not in this transfer market.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm thinking off the top of my head, and I'm right. Outside of Jackson, there are 4 players that they have hit on that haven't been former City players. That's Jackson, the 2 obvious ones, and Santos. And even one of those is out on loan currently. Outside of that, there hasn't been a single guy that we've bought that's been a guaranteed success that hasn't been from the City Academy.
Remember,
what the fuck are we paying these guys to do?
Correa also doesn't count because he was signed in summer 22 before they started their job.
Fafana's the same.
Fafana.
Even if you consider him a success. I don't,
And
but-
the jury's still out on Fafana.
How can he be a success when he's never available?
yeah, that's
That's
like
what I mean. It's still, you can't count them as success.
both
Jury's still
goalkeepers.
out.
Right now,
You know what I mean?
both goalkeepers are an L. Most centre backs are an L. Veiga's an L so far. Just like even the price we got him for, because he's barely played and we've just loaned him. Like Gusto, I think is in the middle, just because we don't know what he's eventually going to be.
Yeah,
ADH
I think it's unreal.
But all right.
Lavia is where he is. Like yeah, you keep going like this fucking.
Can we have a slightly alternative discussions here, right? Because we just been talking about what they bring in, right? Let's have a little conversation on what they get out, right? And I'm going to start with the goalkeeper aspect, right? Because you can get signings wrong. I give you that. You're telling me before you even did all of this, you didn't do your best, or you didn't go all out to try and find a permanent solutions for people you know are never going to make the match of the squad. And before you say anything, before anyone says anything about it's very hard to move Kepa. Kepa wanted to go back to Real Madrid. You could have done a swap deal with Lunin, who wanted to leave, and we had strong links to. Right, so that's the first point. You knew coming into the squad, Maresca told you that Chilwell and Chukwuemeka and them man from early enough didn't meet his system. So your outgoings alone is an indictment on your work as sporting directors, because you're not even trimming the excessive fat, which would free up transfer money and wage money to let you get better players. So that alone, for me, you're not doing your job right.
So I'm glad you brought that up because
just let his contract run down. But they
Yeah.
gave him an extra year. Well, I don't know if
Gave
they
an
did.
extra year.
He was given an extra year.
Someone did.
Like
someone
Mourinho
in this regime.
They gave
Like
Chilwell
Mourinho
2 years.
used to do. Like Mourinho
Yeah.
used to do.
Yeah,
And
they
also-
just don't.
Chilwell's not on them. Chilwell's on the ownership for extending his contract 2 years ago.
Yeah,
For that.
But even if the ownership extends it, you still know that he's not going to play for this club. It's still on you.
But the problem, Javon, the problem is his contract length and his wages. Yeah, that's his problem. He's on over these 200, just over 200k a week.
And he's still here for 2.5 years.
200k a week.
But Winter, you work. I'm pretty sure you work in corporate because you work from home, right? I do the same, right? If your manager tasks you with gives you a task, it doesn't matter what the stipulations around that task is. Don't you have to get it done? Because I have to get it done. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the circumstances around Chilwell is. You can find a solution that can lead to a permanent solution. Another example with the same problem: Sterling. I guarantee you, Sterling will leave at some point permanently this summer. Half of his wages is off the books.
I'll be completely honest. I don't think he leaves.
Take a major wage cut.
I genuinely think he's another one. He's another one that stays till the end of his contract.
Here's the
He's
thing.
still got 2 years left this summer.
Yeah, I know. I think we loan him. I think we do the same thing we do with Kepa. We just loan him to the end of his contract.
Here's the thing.
But even if you go with the loan thing, Scott, you're still proving my point, right? Because they're still not here. Half of their wages is still got. You get what I'm saying? Versus having them sit down, not even can't even make the match day squad, bro.
But here's the thing.
I think so. Sorry, Marshall. I was just gonna say, I actually think Sterling's probably their strongest point in terms of that. I think.
Oh yeah, their loans. I've spoken about their loans ad nauseum. I'm tired.
Yeah, Sterling. I mean, like getting money in is probably their strongest point. It's not a strong point, but it's probably their strongest point. But it's the whole. It's just they're not respected. Do you know what I mean? They're not respected in negotiations. So Bali or Bali has to step in. They're just not. And someone put it in chat earlier, and they're probably right. But I wonder if Bowley wanted to take over and bring someone in like Michael Edwards. You know what I mean?
I could see that.
I think that's what I think he
Well,
would.
he did. That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan.
Didn't he bring in Christopher Fevell and Egboli because him and Egboli kicked off? Yeah, him and Egboli kicked off, so he left.
Yeah.
If Vivell was running this, I doubt we'd be in this situation.
But that's the thing.
No.
Like, you see how Lavelle, well, I don't know how much of it is him, but you see how things are going at United. Things aren't looking that much better. So I can't. There's a lot of ifs, ands, buts, or maybes in this scenario, too. Like, we don't know what could have worked out at what point. We're saying in hindsight and all this. I get that. But going back to the discussion that we were just having about, the spine and this overall idea of success, what we're seeing right now versus down the road. And I think you guys understand it, but very much like me, there's a bit of impatience that takes a toll and plays a factor in how we react to the scenario and how we view what's going on in front of us in the present. And I'm just going to reiterate this to maybe people who don't see it this way, but I think, and you were alluding to Chilwell and Sterling and all that. I think the way that our ownership view selling and buying, I think the way it is that they're willing to wait and wait and wait and wait until they finally get their way. Think about it. With Oshimhen.
I'll just say something. Someone in the chat that said Ravel signed Mudryk. He did not sign Mudryk. That was Winston and Barley who signed Mudryk.
Yeah. So
he might have had a hand in Felix and Noni, I think, but
no, he didn't sign Felix and Noni. That was all the
he was involved in the Felix and the Noni thing because Felix not joining permanently was part of the reason why he left.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the first. Okay, the loan.
Yeah, the first loan. The first time he could go.
But back to the point I was saying, right? Is when no, you're fine. When you look at how these guys have operated, and you look at how some of these transfers have happened, let's not pretend that maybe outside of Neto, most of these transfers were being negotiated or there was links to them long before they actually happened. The Caicedo one, there was interest and efforts to get that to happen in the January window before the window we actually got him, but things didn't work out. So then we go back and get him in the summer. Same thing with Lavia. Same thing with Oshimhen, and that didn't work out. And who knows? We might go back for Oshimhen in the summer. I think they don't care how long it takes, as long as they get the price they want, and it happens. So there's no real timeline in terms of when it gets done, as long as it gets done. And some companies, like you guys were alluding to in corporation, sometimes it does work that way. There is no deadline. Like, okay, I eventually want you to get this done, work towards it. If I see progress towards it, you're still in the job. And that's kind of how, with this whole idea of a spine, right? I still believe, even despite all this and how upset I am with the sporting directors right now and the links that are happening, despite all this, I still believe that 3 years from now, 2 years from now, this team will have its spine. Right now, the spine we're looking at is like a little baby, right? It's not a full-grown spine. Like you have to develop it. You have to nourish it. You have Enzo and Caicedo that 2 years from now, they're going to be much better players than they are right now. Levi Colwell, Achimpong, Reece James, whoever you want to put in the defense. Maybe we get another player, Agehi. A few years down the line, they're going to be better players than they are right now. Then you're eventually going to have that spine. It's an investment. And I've said this word multiple times. It's an investment. It's not an immediate results business for them. It's, I'm going to invest now and I'll get my returns later on. And it sucks because right now, we want results right now. I want results right now.
But you just
contradicted Champions League.
But you just contradicted yourself. You just contradicted yourself in terms of, if you are going to wholeheartedly believe that, then you cannot have the expectations you yourself and we have for the club to finish this season then. And next season, if you're going to give it 2-3 years.
That's not true.
Yes, your expectations have to change because
no.
This. The level they're at right now is minimum top 4, and the level they're expected to get to is solid top 4 and competing for a league. Because
Yeah,
then
but
that means
Javon, I wasn't saying earlier in the season that this team is going to win the title. I was saying exactly that. This team is more than capable of making top 4. It still is.
more than capable of making top 4 is saying that they're good enough to be top 4, but be top 4 comfortably ahead of the rest. We're not top 4 comfortably ahead of the rest, is what I'm saying. So you have to lower your expectation if that's the case. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Because my expectation in the long run is to be a dominant team, is to be what Man City was in the last 5 years.
We're not building towards that. But we're not building.
All right, so let's say if you want to be build to what City to get to City's level eventually, you know what you have to do, and you're going to go down the investment road. You simply have to see week in, week out, continuous improvement from both manager and team. And let me just give you an example of the spine that you're talking about. Defensively, since match day 1 to whatever match day it is coming up this Saturday, the defense has been absolutely shit in terms of cannot see out a game and being defensively susceptible. There's no continuous improvement. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But there is, though. This is the thing. Like you're saying week in, you're saying week in, week out. The way I see the improvement and the way I think that the directors and the owners are seeing it, it's not week in, week out. It's from transfer window to transfer window, or from quarter to quarter, or every 2 quarters, let's just say it. When you look at when they started in January 2022, we were shit. 12th place, 23. You go into the Pochettino season. Although it was bad, it was a slight improvement from Potter and Lampard. Very, very minimal. We went from 12th to 10th. Like, let's be honest, that's not the standard. Then you go from January to the summer, we jump up from 10th to 6th. That is an improvement statistically. Then you go to this season. We start off very, very much better than what we ended last season. The football looks better. The players look better. We are in contention for top 4. We are in top 4 currently. There is an improvement.
The problem is I have to.
That is unacceptable for me, because guess what? You are damn near second, right? You are second. 10 points or 11 points clear of Newcastle. With the same issues I just listed. You're traveling towards, and over time, because your blossoming attack was clicking at the time, is not clicking at the same level now. It took 5 games with the same issues that we had to rear its ugly head, and we dropped. Don't forget, we dropped out of the top 4. And if it wasn't for Bournemouth, we'd be comfortably in 5th or 6th right now, right? So that yet again, you're relying on other teams. So that's not improvement at all. And last season, if it wasn't for other teams, we would have still finished 10th and 11th. So that's not on us as a club. That's on other people. That's why I'm saying that there's no improvement. If we, let me put it to you in footballing terms, in on the pitch terms, there would be glaring improvement if we had more clean sheets this season. That's what I'm talking about. Because that means whether the attack is firing or not, we can still see out games, and then we can say, you know what? We've seen defensive improvement. We have 4 clean sheets in 20 or 25
Before Surfer
games.
goes, but again, from last season's manager to this season's manager, defensively we have improved. It's not good enough to where you want to be, but we have improved statistically.
Here's the thing, right?
Points going over your head.
Here's the thing. We have to put this into context, right? At the start of the season, I think we were all fair to say maybe a top 4 race, maybe top 4. There was slight hesitation over, or question marks over, how good is Maresca? What's happened is he's actually part of the season. He's actually overperformed what we expected of being that close to Liverpool for part of the season, and now we are sort of balancing out of what most people probably would have said and accepted in terms of a top 4 race. So I think it's actually balanced out. I think we actually is improved, or is spot on what most people would have said. So he's actually on to what it is. There's different aspects of needing improvement in terms of defending and keeping clean sheets and finishing and stuff like that. But in terms of what his overall job, to what he's done, he's actually on point and even parts of the season overperformed. Back to the sport directors. Is it not an absolute damning indictment that within let's say the windows from 23 to now, that probably a huge chunk of their signings we have moved on or we're looking to move on within that space of time. Even sometimes less, even 18 months, even a year, or sometimes for 6 months. Is that not a damning indictment of their 100%. Job?
Oh, it's terrible.
All right. So let me ask you a question. Because clearly what I've been saying is going over your head, because you're looking at the overall statistics. I'm looking at the same statistics, but I'm taking everything into consideration, right? If what I'm saying is, you see, if we made those improvements, not relying on other results or not hoping for other results to go our way, I 100% hear it. But you're saying we're comfortable, we're currently in top 4. That's only because of what Bournemouth did to Newcastle. If Newcastle had continued on their winning form, we'd be 6, bro. So that's why that's what I'm saying. And a lot of times last season we got perfect
I'm
example.
Sorry, that's very disingenuous what you're saying.
No, let me finish
I'm
my
sorry,
point.
the season
Let me
we
finish my
no
point.
once
CP, let him finish. CP, let him finish.
The season that Tuchel got 4th that we're saying was because of circumstances. Last season was because of circumstances. Leicester won the league because of circumstances. City fell off because of circumstances. That's why Liverpool's first. That's what happens in football. You can't keep on saying,
so,
I wasn't finished with my point. Improving. City just
I wasn't finished with my
Arsenal
point.
fell off.
Yeah, I wasn't finished with my point, and if I finish with my point, you'll understand what I'm saying, right? Because the way how I look at true improvement is when you do it from your team. Perfect example. Where we finished last season? Were we supposed to be in the Conference League?
Nope.
When we finished in the league position,
we're 4 points. Yeah, we were 4 points off fourth place.
I'm not talking about that. We're in the Conference League because United won the FA Cup.
Yes.
That's because of another team's results, bad man. If we handle business, we'd be minimum in the Europa League, is what I'm saying. That's because of consequences.
You, Javon, are missing my point, right? Because I understand what you're saying. I understand that you're saying like we aren't where we're supposed to be. This isn't seen as an improvement to an extent to what I'm saying, right? Because based on
Marshall, I'm gonna go.
Do your thing.
I'm gonna go. It's been a great discussion. I think earlier on the Lewis's stream we all were more those on there we were all more angry, and that allowed us to vent, but now we're discussing it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I feel a lot better. I do feel a lot
Appreciate
better.
That.
Yes. Casually FC. It's the
subscribe
vibes.
to everyone here. Subscribe to Casually FC, like the video, subscribe to Jamon as well, and follow everyone here. And pray for Chris and his ACL and stuff like that. And he's probably asleep. Probably doesn't even know.
No.
He's not on mute. So. Oh, you're still there. Sorry. How weird, man. You just stay silent for ages. Unbelievable.
I was doing something
anyway.
The last 20 minutes. But...
Yeah, leave it like that. Just don't finish that sentence. I don't want to know. Carry on a good discussion. I'll speak to you later. I'll see you for the City review. Hopefully we win.
Yes.
We've got City. Remember that, guys. We actually play City. A couple of
I got it. So
I'm actually glad we're talking. Actually, no. Let's talk about City. Let's talk about City.
I want Marshall to finish his point because I have one last point.
Yeah. And by the way, like within 6 minutes or 10 minutes or so, I do have to wrap it up because I am going to be starting another stream with Vader Games to preview the City match tomorrow, or not tomorrow. Tomorrow in the UK, but Saturday. But I hear what you're saying, Javon, and you're basically pointing out the fact that to an extent it seems, and I might be slightly inaccurate in reiterating what you're saying here, but it seems to me what you're alluding to is that maybe we didn't necessarily improve from last season, but we are where we are as a result of the other teams around us. And although to an extent you're not wrong, I do get that. at the end of the day, it is what CP says, and it is a results-based business. At the end of the day, you have to play the team that's in front of you. At the end of the day, we do see an improvement in the football. At the end of the day, we do see an improvement in the defense. We do see an improvement in the attack in terms of how much we're outputting now. We do see a style of play. There is a slight improvement. And at the end of the day, I know we're seeing it right now, but who's to say? And honestly, I don't know how much my mind is going to change, but when we get to the end of the season, if we do finish top 4, if we do finish with the Conference League trophy, which God forbid if we don't get that, oh my God, but we do finish with the Conference League trophy, then we've hit our expectations. The results are there. Maybe we didn't like the way we got there because of this 6-game slump, right? Who's to say what's going to happen for the rest of the season? But the results are there. This is a results-based business. The directors did manage to steer this ship to get top 4, although they did fumble along the way, and it did make it harder for themselves, i.e. the Oshimhen deal, i.e. not getting a center back in the transfer window, i.e. not reinforcing properly. And it goes back to the investment thing, because who's to say, like, okay, we made it with this team. Now we have Santos. But now we have Esteval. Now Lesley's back. Now we're going to bolster. Now we have the team. And I don't know if that's the plan. That's what I would like to hope.
That's a shit plan.
So if you take into consideration, if you take into consideration the basis of my point is, everything you just said, based on it's a result-based business, and you're taking advantage of other people faltering, that is not sustainable at all. You're basically telling me.
The idea is, Javon, to get to the point where you're talking about the next season, to start being more dominant. And let's say, in a hypothetical, let's say next season we do improve and we challenge for the league and we win the league. Ladies and gents, this is a hypothetical, okay?
That's never happening.
Let's just say, in a hypothetical, we actually get a second striker. We bolster where we need to bolster. We go and we challenge for the title next season, and we actually do win it. Then I would say, okay, from there, I want to see sustainability and dominance, which is what you're alluding to, not relying on other teams to get us to that position. That's where I want to see the improvement.
Well, all right, I'll rephrase it this way, right? Because I'm not going to go back and forth. Improvement for me is seeing my team. It doesn't matter where the chips fall on the table. It doesn't matter what the other clubs are doing. It doesn't matter if we take an advantage from somebody slipping or not. What I'm saying, I see my team on the pitch being one, clearly improving, meaning you're able to see out more games than just the one Bournemouth game where we struggled and 1-1 nil. We're seeing that consistency. We're not seeing defensive errors. We're not seeing this has to do with madness. We're not seeing Maresca misprofiling our defenders. We're actually seeing defensive stability and being able to see out games. Because you know what that's going to equal to? It's going to equal to when it comes on to us needing another team to slip up, we know we have this luck. That for me is true improvement, because if you're saying during the course of the season, oh well, it's based on who we're playing. Also to say, perfect example, City, everyone here and their dog is beating City right now. So we rack up expecting to beat in City. What if City flip a switch against us? And because of our own shortcomings, we're not able to be defensively sound. We're not able to see out games. We're not able to do what we need to do to be better on the day. That's my point. That's my version of true improvement. You don't watch what's going on the outside. You simply look inside and move forward. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I'm a little bit nervous still against here. I feel like we should be beating them, but since we got no Enzo Fernandez and a few injuries here and there, and they won, I think, 3 in the last 5 and haven't even lost in the last 5 in the Premier League, let alone, like, they seem like they're picking form slowly.
I'm not worried at all.
Well,
they literally bottled another 2-0.
Yeah, they bottled against this year, I get, but we will probably lose this year too.
And Gonzalo Ramos. Their defense is shit. Their defense is conceding more than ours that we keep on hyping up. They've conceded more goals than us. They have as injury-prone center backs as us. Their midfield is as worse than us, even without them. Their midfield is worse because they have no DM.
I remember
can't
feeling
keep on
like
doing
you
this.
against United, and look what happened to us against fucking United. So don't tell me.
Yeah.
Ron, we can't do
Yeah.
this
By the
without
way,
negativity. And
can I just-
no, I need to go back and forth with you about this whole thing, because also we made the Champions League the season before. We scored 67 points and we lost the last game, and Leicester lost their last game. If Leicester had won, we would have been 5th. So what? We had to rely on other people. In
is
2018, we had the same
That
thing where
wasn't
But we
were in
wouldn't
the
be
top
in
four by
that
1
position
point.
if we were good enough internally. So you
Yes,
Yeah,
we are
that-
good
that-
enough
that
internally
was-
because
that
we
was-
have literally conceded way less goals than last season, even at this point.
bro.
Yeah.
And looking at it,
Let me tell. Let's simply put it this way: if we get caught in any position at all where we have, and I know we're never going to remain perfect, but if we get caught in any position where we have to rely on somebody else to get over the line, that simply means we did not do enough. And you cannot. That's a fact. You cannot dispute that, because if you were good enough to do it, we wouldn't be in a back and forth with anyone. Yes, these things happen, but that's where my idealistic of actual improvement comes from. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
They also beat Ipswich 6-0, wasn't it, last game?
They did.
Yeah.
And we lost 2-0. I think
And we
the-
struggled like fuck against them as well. It was crazy. And we had like Angel and all that back then.
yes, they also drew 2-2 to Brentford.
Yeah, no, yeah, like they drew a couple games the last 5 games. So, like,
Footballing.
I just wouldn't be so confident though, Anna, for this Saturday's game, because we have a few injuries and we're not in a great
Yeah,
form.
and so do they, and their defense is as shit as ours.
I would say
Goalkeepers
I
on
would agree.
shit
Yeah,
form
the
as
defense
ours.
shits us, and yeah, the
This-
keepers know like much difference.
This argument is so weird because, number one, if that's their plan to build a team, it's shit, because no one ever builds a team like that, because you're entirely reliant on the entire squad improving at the same time.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fucking stupid. That never happens at anywhere other than youth team football internationally. When you have like for example England, most of the team you played for the under-21s together, but that's because they just played together and they all came up like together. Outside of the international football, that doesn't happen. In like club football. Number two, expectations change. No one expected us to be second. No one expected City to be where they are. I don't think anyone expected City. I don't think anyone at City expected City to be spending £150 million within 2 weeks of the window being open. But here they are, spending £150 million in the middle of
Yes,
2 weeks.
but we can't sit
By the way,
a 19-year-old and they're buying an 18-year-old from Palmeiras.
that's fine. That 18-year-old, by the way,
Palmeiras
they've
is only
accelerated. They've accelerated his transfer. They were going to buy him and loan him back, and they went, "No, we need centre backs now," and so bought him. And
Yeah, so they got an 18-year-old from Palmeiras in. Wow.
that's fine. They've
Yeah.
still made signings. They've still reinforced their
I
squad.
agree,
because
but it's not like amazing. The only amazing one has been Marmoush. They bought an 18 and a 19-year-old. The same thing we're criticizing if we bought Ansel Mino in.
they can afford
That's
to
what
do
they
that
did.
because of the way, again,
They do have a
they
lot of
can afford
experienced
to do
players.
that because the way their squad is made up. The reason we are complaining is because every player we're buying is 18 and 19. They are buying players to bring down an aging squad to fit around the experience. Whether it's the right player or not remains to be seen. They are going about things the right way in terms of they are making signings that are making a difference.
I wouldn't say they're going the right way if their 2 transfer windows in the summer have been so dog shit to the where their squad is now.
That's fine.
I
They
mean-
fucked the summer up. I'm talking about
No,
Now-
2 summers. The summer after the one
It's
they
'cause they've
trouble. they
barely
fucked
been
it up.
spending
This
the last
summer they
few
fucked
years.
it up, and that's why they're spending so much. And then they bought 2 young kids and Marmoush, who's had one good spell of 6 months.
cool. They're still making signings. They're still doing something because the expectations they had change. Expectations change. Marshall, you said earlier about how most of the squad is sort. I can't remember what you said earlier. I was going to make a point on it. You could make the argument that every single position in our squad has an issue. Not all of that is down to the directors. Some of that is down to the manager. But the fact that I can tell you that every single position has some sort of issue is a problem. And instead of addressing that, they are sticking to the plan of their usual bullshit, and it may cost us top 4. I don't think it will, but it may do. But what's the plan in the summer going forward? Are we challenging for the league at that point? Because I don't think we are, even though we should, because we've shown this season we are good enough. We can compete. We've shown that. With the right signings, we can compete in this league. That has been shown under this manager. And instead of seeing the expectation change slightly and trying to hone in on that, these guys are doing the same bullshit. They are continuing with the same nonsense.
Yeah, and we still all right. See what Scott just said trickles back to my point, because we've had defensive issues all this season. If you see that we're brilliant going forward, right? Why not when the January transfer window comes, you say to your cohort, you know what, this team can score goals, but you know what we need now? We need to make sure this team can see out games and this team can be defensively solid. So if there's ever a drop off, we can still pick up the 3 points. That didn't happen at all, and that would have been one way to improve the defense or even the midfield.
Well, they were going for Gehi. It's just that Crystal Palace didn't want to sell, and that's why we called Chalobah, no?
And then we signed Sarr and loaned him back. Like that. But that tells me everything. They've decided this window again. Like, that's a perfect example. They've decided this window we need a centre back. Instead of addressing the issue properly, you've decided to recall a guy you said wasn't good enough 6 months ago, and then sign a guy from your sister club you loan straight back, and probably even when he joins the team, won't be involved straight away. Or
Yeah,
like,
because reports are we're going to get an experienced center back in the summer. It looks like we're going to actually go for Mark Gehi because he's going to have 1 year left, and Crystal Palace will be willing to sell in the summer compared to in the middle of the season when they already lost Chalobah. So this makes sense. I can't blame them for this part. They went for Gehi. Crystal Palace said no. The evaluation is too high. They're like, okay, we'll go in the summer. Let's not spend stupid money on a young player who's from the French league, who's 19, like Man City just did, for 40 million. Let's just get Chalobah, who's in the league. We can recall him. Sure, we treated him wrong. Fair enough. We're going to try to get Mark Gehi in the summer when he has 1 year left. Will probably cost us between 40 to 50 million pounds and is experienced.
So
I can't blame them for that specific thing.
I'm multitasking. But
No,
so like I get what Scott was alluding to earlier, you know, with the rebuttal of like the whole process and all that. I just feel I know there are deficiencies in the team currently, and I think all of us can agree it's major positions like goalkeeper. Again, the investment. Well, it's every position, yeah. Goalkeeper. This is where I think these are my theories, right? Mm-hmm. And we can have this discussion at a separate time because I do have to wrap it up. But my theories being, and I'll give you guys a chance to have your final say. Obviously, I don't want to be unfair and just be like, "Oh, this is my final say. Fuck you guys." But goalkeeping position, I genuinely think they're banking on a Penders, a Selena, or a Petrovic to come in and save them. Investment. When it comes to the center backs, again, investment. Levi Colwell. Let's see what happens with Chalobah's situation. If he actually ends up getting sold, which I think he will. Aaron and Silmino. Who knows if they get recruit more players. That's another one. In terms of the midfield, I think we have our solidified midfield. It's just a matter of now letting that spine become what it is, experience, and then putting people underneath that will learn from that experience, like a Santos or I don't know if Lesley's that young, but maybe you could even make the argument.
Yeah,
Lesley's
he's 20. He's I think 20 or 21.
Lesley's in that conversation of soaking up like a sponge and learning from these midfielders, right? And then in terms of the attack, we need a left winger to replace Mudryk, hopefully not Garnacho, and we need a striker to compete with Jackson.
Also backup left back now since we let go of Veiga.
Yep.
Yeah, that's an interesting one too, right? Yeah. So yeah, left back as well. So it's there. I feel like every process we go into after every window, after every summer window, after every new season, there's always going to be issues. There's always going to be issues. Right now, these issues are pretty glaring and they were pretty obvious. It's hard for me to put too much of an onus on the striker one because we were actually doing the work for a striker, but Scott, you've been here when I said it. CP, you've been here when I said it, I'm sure. Our directors suck at negotiating. I've established this. Like, they are horrible at negotiating. Okay. And so that's something that, for me, is like almost a sackable offense if this keeps going. But again, I'm glad we had this discussion because I'm a lot more calmer about this whole Garnacho thing now. And it's almost like we almost had like a therapy session. But if things work out and we don't get Garnacho, I'm still seeing what happens at the end of the window and assessing there. But right now, these directors are really, really frustrating me. I've had to my wit ends with it. I've had it to my wits end with the Chelsea fan base as well, but that's a whole different thing. And honestly, I don't expect anything better from them, to be honest. But I mean, guys, by all means, have your final say, and then I got to wrap it up to go to Vader Games.
I just really want to say this window has been an unmitigated failure, and there's next to nothing they can do to fix that.
Yeah. I didn't have many high expectations. Like, to me, the expectations will be met if they just bring back a midfielder in between Santos or Ugochukwu. But outside of that, like, I can't say like I expected big name signings like a center forward or anything like that. Anyone else want to have a few more final words? Javon?
Okay, I can go. I agree with Scott for the most part, except for the last part. They can't do anything. They can do two things for me personally. They can get Douglas Luiz on loan. That'll help the midfield if they don't want to bring Santos, and he's experienced and good enough. And if they get Matthias Tell, that at least covers an attacking left wing / backup striker, and he is good aerially, so that does give us a different profile. So that would be good enough, I think, for us to, I would honestly say, solidify top four. Because if we're talking about Chelsea, sure, we haven't done anything, but besides Man City, no other club in the Prem has done jack shit with what they've done. Like, Forest haven't bought anyone. I think just Aston Villa got Malin, that's about it. Newcastle didn't get anyone. United is getting at most maybe Patrick Dorgu, not helping the attack in any way. Arsenal are not linked with Sesko, but that got shot down. So no other club is. Liverpool's not bought anyone either. No one's linked with anyone. It's only Man City right now. So I think if we get Matthias Tell and Douglas Luiz alone, I think that'll solidify our top four, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's some signings that could change this whole thing, and honestly,
I'm not saying it would be a good window. I would say it would save the window to being like a 5 to 6 out of 10 at most if they get those two in specific.
I get that. I think part of it for me too is that we read the tweets earlier, right? They're still considering moves. They're still looking into options. I think with the recall thing, which I think is a big one for me, I think there's a break glass in case of emergency situation there. Who's to say? I don't know. We'll see, because the true colors are gonna come when it's February 3rd. The window is shut. We have the team in front of us.
Basically, in like 1.5 weeks. Sorry,
but I'm not gonna lie. I do want this window to shut like yesterday. Yep. I'm so tired of it. It's been very disappointing. I agree with Scott. A large part of it because of the fan base, but also a large part of it because these football directors are doing nothing in terms of giving themselves any favors. So it is what it is. Javon, are you there? And you want to have any final words or a final whistle? Some may say. Okay, I don't think Javon's there. So, anyways, all right, guys. So I'm gonna. Oh, there it is. There he is. Do you want to have any final say on today's discussion before I redirect over to Vader Games? I am going to be streaming again on this platform, guys. But by all means, check out Vader Games, help him out, and then you can come back here if you want, or you can go to his channel and watch it from there. But we're going to be previewing the game. But Javon, do you want to have any final thoughts before I close out the stream?
No. I know it was a very kind of negative discussion today, but not everything is bad. I don't
think it was negative. Well, yeah, it was. It's hard to be optimistic in the situation, right? But I think it was very informative and very therapeutic. I needed this because Javon, I was in a bad place before this.
Yeah.
I really was. So I needed a laugh.
I fully get it. But at the end of the day, we're fourth. We're 2 points ahead of City, 2 points ahead of Newcastle. We win, and we're still 3 points ahead of Bournemouth. So if we win, if we beat City, we go 5 clear City, and we remain fourth, and we start closing the points on top of us.
Mm-hmm.
The Garnacho thing looks like we can't escape it, so we'll speak on that at a later date if it's confirmed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more excited to see another Chalobah performance, to see maybe if he could provide something
Who knows? Maybe our defense
defensively to help us,
Yeah.
get over the line. To give us a
Yeah.
boost defensively, because then that's going to help the entire team. So,
Mhm.
and unlike Ray Allen says, we're 4 points from Arsenal, and who knows, we can still finish second in this league if we get our act together, because I don't see Arsenal continuing a winning run of form with all their injuries, and Nottingham Forest is still an unknown quantity at this point. So there's still positives to take from the season.
Yeah, no, I get you, man. Let's see what happens. We got a game on Saturday. Hopefully we get a win. That'll be a big win for Chelsea if we do get it. Me and Vader will be talking about it on our separate channels. We're both streaming from our own channels on our own platforms. But definitely check it out. If you guys haven't done so already, me, Javon, and Eunice sat down and had a bit of a discussion in terms of Chelsea and our current form. And we discussed the most recent game, which was the Bournemouth? Wolves, thank you. Yeah, Wolves game. So go check that out on the Final Whistle podcast. The link down below to Javon's channel. Go and show him some love and support by checking out the content over on there. Be sure to smash up the like button over here as well if you haven't done so already, because it does help out the channel with the algorithm. A lot of you guys did show up today and smash up the like button. So phenomenal performance, man of the match performance from the chat. I appreciate you guys and your support. Also, if you are new here, be sure to also check out our subscribe button. It's a wonderful button that if you press it, you'll be able to get the channel and the live streams on your feed as soon as they pop up, and you can join in the chat whenever you decide to want to do that. So big up to you guys who have subscribed. If you're new here, do subscribe. Help us out tremendously there. And also, I will say, check out the memberships if you haven't done so already. Our subscribers who are already here and familiar with the channel, you like the emojis, you're familiar with the memberships and how it works. And if you're a proper casual and higher tier member, you get a shout out at the end of every show. And those shout outs are going to go to CAA Mafia, SDFC Benny, Adam CFC, Pels, EPL Turf, A Soliman, TM127, Hassan Nawaz, Dark EE, Adrian. Appreciate you guys and all your support throughout the months that you have been members now at this level, and also big shout out to the members that we have in the chat, and big shout out to the Discord. There's been a lot of debate and discussion happening on the Discord. I am very much involved in that as well, so check out that Discord. Enough of me promoting. I'm gonna redirect you over to Vader Games TV. Guys, you already know what to do. Be sure to copy and paste that raid message. Let them know where you're coming from. We'll be back here on my channel in a few moments. Let me just set up the stream. But we will also be streaming the same stream over on Vader Games. But yeah, big up to Javon, big up to the panel, big up to everyone. We'll see you in a few moments. And if I don't see you in a few moments, we'll see you after the reaction, or after the match against City for a reaction. Big up to everyone. Have a wonderful night. And as always, stay casual. Peace.
Peace.